Good morning, Raptor freaks. Lexi Otts here, and it's Saturday morning, and we did not complete the double W last night. The Raptors 905 came through with their end in Memphis against the Hustle, but the Raptors, alas, continued losing to the Chicago Bulls. It is what it is. You know, there's ups and downs in the rebuild. There's checks of balances and the litmus test of where you're at. And, well, the Bulls are still beating us in certain situations right now. I think the addition of Emmanuel quickly back to the lineup yesterday partly had a little bit to do with it, but I think overall, what it is what Alvin said near the end of the game. Some nights, some teams just are shooting way better than you, and just it's their night to beat you. And unfortunately, that was another night like last night. It's not that the Raptors didn't try. It's not that they didn't play a very effective defense at times. They did. They were playing all out on defense, but the Chicago Bulls were able to score no matter what throughout most of the game still. And that was not easy. There was a lot of blocks. There was a lot of good switching. There's a lot of good stuff done. And you got to give credit to Billy Donovan for making an offense that was efficient and effective against a team that had one of the best defenses in the league recently. So it's tough. It's tough. The NBA is a tough league, and night in, night out, you got to bring your best against everybody because you never know if a team, even with a Chicago team that was 3-9 before this game, well, could get out of it and start doing better. There's some key players for the Bulls I felt like that were really important for them to win last night. And Buzelis, that rookie coming off the bench, was one of them. That kid is really good. When I did my scout on him last year, I said this is a really good player and that I would like to get him. And I was right. Buzelis is not just a great outside shooter. He can attack the rim, and he's so long and lanky. He has all kinds of offensive potential. Not only that, he's active on the defensive end with shot blocking. So, yeah, that kid really impressed me last night. I knew he was going to be good, but seeing where he's at in his rookie year with the Bulls, he's a fantastic player. Other players that were important for them to beat us were Kobe White, Ayo DeSumo. Those guys are like a tag team of little quick guards that are all over the place, and they will barrage you with speed and showing up the spots and hitting threes in different places. It's annoying. Of course, Kobe White's the more offensive-minded of the two, and Ayo's more kind of the sidekick helping out. But, man, the Kobe White speeding up things and coming around and getting the spots and hitting shots really hurt the Raptors last night. And on the down low, the big man Vucevic is always a current steady thing for the Bulls while he's there as far as how much he contributes and helps being a capable scorer inside and a reliable three-point threat. So, yeah, the Bulls are a talented team. And then I'll get on talking about their very strange, very talented point guard from Australia, who is one of the best rebounders on their team, honestly. And he is really interesting. His little back pass. Josh Giddey's little back pass. He did it a couple times. The first time he did it, Vucevic had no idea he was doing it, and he like threw it towards the half court, and they turned the ball over. I was like, wow, that's hilarious. Josh Giddey just threw that ball like a little back pass. Like nobody was supposed to see it, but nobody was there, and it just rolled out to the out of bounds. But he did it again later, and it was successful later. Yeah, Josh Giddey is a really good player, and it's crazy how strong he looks at this point in his career this many years in. That dude is a big, big guy, and he plays point guard. It's crazy. Like, in some ways, there's a lot of parallels with Josh Giddey and Scotty Barnes. There really are a lot of parallels. So, yeah, I wanted to give credit where credit's due first to the Bulls. And we don't need to talk about us as far as like denigrating us because honestly, we had a good effort out there. It just didn't click right. As much as their threes were going in and as much as they were hot shooting, we were not. We were missing open threes. We were missing layups, and we just didn't have it like they had it. And sometimes that's what basketball is about. Which team shoots better wins. And that's what it was, the case for the story for the Raptors last night. The team that shoots better wins. And that was the situation last night. Yeah, let's see what y'all are saying. We'll do the stars of the game for both games. We'll do the Instagram stories, the classic card, all the fun stuff we do on the Raptor Freak channel. It's Reaction Day. for 2 games. We're talking about 2 games today. That's right. Trevor J said, life is beautiful. One day, 1 hour, 1 minute will not come again in your entire life. Avoid fights, angriness, and speak lovely to every person. Yeah, you don't want to keep bridges burned if they matter to you. If they're unhealthy, toxic people, sure, burn those bridges and let them stay burned. But if there's somebody who's important to you, even if they're family or friends because of that, and in some ways you have fallen out, you want to heal that if they matter. You don't want to have regrets about not connecting with these people that matter to you. You want to go ahead and heal that and fix it, because you may not get the chance if something tragic happens. And that's why I say, if you have a burning desire or something doesn't feel right, go ahead and take care of it. Don't procrastinate. Call that person today, because you don't know what, like, just like Trevor's saying here, when that last minute's coming. And you really want to get your affairs straight all the time, honestly, so that you can have a clear conscience. So yeah, Trevor, thank you for your words of wisdom. Those are very encouraging, positive words of wisdom to heal rifts, and I like that. Trevor's saying we played a good game, but Chicago beat us by making more threes. Yeah, they really did. Let's go look at the team stats, since that's what Trevor just brought up. Shooting percentage really not good for the Raptors last night. I mean, 42% from the field. They shot 92 shots, so they got 3 more field goal attempts than the Bulls, but the Bulls shot over 50%, and that was huge for them. They shot better than us at all 3 shooting categories. They shot 45% from 3, which Jakob Poeltl in his write-up after the game noted that the 3-point shooting of the Bulls was what beat us. And our shooting was 1 out of 3, 10 out of 30, 33%. They shot 45%. They got 8 more threes than us. So that's what, 32 more points than us just from 3-pointers? No, wait, that's not 32. That's 24. 24 more points than us just from 3-pointers. We had to make up in other places, and they beat us by what, 18 or something, 16. So free throws, we shot a poor percentage at free throws. This is once again annoying to see. Sometimes the Raptors are really good at the free throw line, but some nights they are absolute crap. And last night they were kind of crap. They missed 9 free throws altogether, so they missed out on 9 points. And the refs were actually on our side. They gave us 10 more free throws than the other team. So the ref crew wasn't bad. You guys saw that the ref crew wasn't that bad last night, right? That it was Adair and Trey Maddox were very friendly with the Raptors. Like, Davion Mitchell is really good friends with Trey Maddox. I can tell. Before the game, they were palling around and talking a lot. And I saw Scotty talking to the refs before the game last night on League Pass. And they really respect him and like him when he was coming, because, they do this every game where the referees come out with the game balls. They have like 3 of them, and they show them to captains of both teams, and they kind of get their opinion on which one the ball feels the best and which one we should use for the game. Like, that's what they're doing when you see the players come over to the refs in the pregame warm-up. The Scotty will come over and he'll handle each one of the balls, and he'll kind of say, "Oh, I like this one, Fennessy. Here you go. We'll use this one today." And a lot of jokes and smiles seen when he's doing that with people like Brendan Adair and Trey Maddox. So these refs are nice guys, and they're people, man. Even when we yell at them in the games, coaches and players, these guys are just trying to do their job. And I mean, you could see the coaches get yelling at the refs, and sometimes the refs are just very like ignoring them because they don't want to get mad at them back, and they're just kind of trying to do their job. So the more I do the ref report, the more I study the NBA refs intensely, the more I have respect for them. Honestly, I really do. This project's made me like them more than hate them more. And that's why I think this is a very fruitful, worthwhile project, the ref report that I do on this channel. Because there are bad refs. It's just like cops. There's bad cops that are corrupt and fucked up, Scott Foster. But there are very, very good refs also that are doing their job to the T, and they are honorable people that have no partiality either way. They're actually being good, impartial refs. So I want to give more credit to the NBA referees over time, because they, in my opinion, have the hardest refereeing job out of all the 4 major sports in some ways. They really, really do in some ways. Yeah. The rebounding, we got out rebounded by 8. So it's just like, the rebounding was a problem. We should have been bigger than them. But there were some personnel decisions that Darko made last night that some people may get mad at him for. The rotations were not totally smooth. I like the fact that, he was, Shed was out because of illness. We did miss Shed. I liked that Emmanuel was back, but in some ways I didn't like that he started. I'm going to be honest, because in some ways at the beginning of the game, we set a defensive tone with Davion Mitchell starting. And that didn't necessarily happen in this game last night. The Bulls got rolling and got into their groove and got feeling good. In fact, Darko cited this as being one of the problems with the game last night, was that we let the Bulls get too comfortable and getting feeling good vibes and rolling. That's something you don't want to do in the NBA. You want to really stifle and stop and sidetrack or just mess up whatever awesome plan the other team has for their offense. And we failed to do that last night. The Bulls and Billy Donovan had a good plan, and they executed it, and they did a good job. So it is what it is. Assists, we got 27, so we didn't get to our 30 mark. That's awesome. Last year, I was saying I just want 25 assists. Raised the mark to 30 in the 30th season of the Raptors. Well, I would be happy with Nick Nurse if they got to 25 a few years ago. They dance around like 15 to 20 when Nick was coaching us. And now with Darko coaching us, it's really 25 to 30 is where we dance around with the assists per game as a team. So I'm liking that. Stocks, block up was in effect last night for a while. Jakob is such a fun shot blocker, and some of the blocks he was getting were after the fact and getting them just in time, and some of them were stealth, and you kind of like, whoa, did he block that? And you're like, yeah, he did. And I'll go over his stat line soon, but he had a lot of blocks last night that were awesome. Turnovers, we actually took care of the ball really well. We only had 7 turnovers, but we still managed to lose this game. It's crazy because we could have a game like last night where we take care of the ball really well and only have 7 turnovers. And then we could have a game where we had 21 turnovers in this win streak and we won. So that's how fickle and crazy the NBA is. Every game is its own individual snowflake, and the way it plays out is always going to be kind of different every single time. It's very unique. We see different things in games all the time, weird stuff that we never seen before, like the referees stopping play just to announce that a shot had been changed to a three-pointer. Weird stuff happens in the NBA every single time. That you may have seen a little bit of a variation of, but it's not exactly what you saw, like a speaker fire. How about that? A speaker fire. Yeah, fast break points. Raptors got out and ran a little bit more than the Bulls, 16 to 11. Points in the paint, exactly even. So, yeah, it's weird. 3-point shooting is the biggest culprit, according to the team stats, as far as having a plus 24 in points for the Bulls over the Raptors. Yeah, it's too bad. It is what it is. The losing streak came to an end. In some ways, I'm happy that Emmanuel came back last night for the first game before these really hard ones we've got coming up in the next week. I'm telling you, we could be on another losing streak now. This is just how it's got to be with a rebuild. You got to ride the waves. But there's been a lot of good, positive growth in seeing our win streak recently. But we'll have to see. It may be a little while before we get another win, guys, just so y'all know. But we'll see. We'll see. We could surprise one of these really good teams and kick some major ass and play at a really high level and beat somebody we had no business beating. The next couple opponents, the Clippers, the Knicks, and the Grizzlies, all top teams that are playing pretty well this year. So this is going to be a big deal if we beat them. At 9:05 at Memphis Hustle last night, Trevor J saying 9:05 win on the road. Ulrich Shamshay, double-double. Jonathan Bobo, his best game as a professional basketball player yet last night. Yeah, big game. And Battle was good too. All right, you're going to name my stars of the game, Trevor. I might as well go do the stars of the game of the 9:05 game first, the win. 125 to 113 over the Memphis Hustle. The Hustle were winning at times. It was a back-and-forth game, to be honest. But the 9:05 took care of things in the fourth quarter to make sure they won by the end of the game. There's a lot of poise and experience on the 9:05 at this point. You'd be shocked. They really are playing like totally different than in the Showcase Cup era, a part of the season. They're really a lot more together, play as a team, and they're doing things correctly for Andrew Jones to a degree. And I like that. Jonathan was the star of the game. He had his career high as a pro, 24 points on 6 of 10 shooting in 32 minutes. 3 of 5 from 3, guys. made all of his free throws, 7 of them, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 4 turnovers, though. But he was a plus 24 with 24 points in 32 minutes for the Raptors 905. He was the best player on the team with the highest plus minus. So Jonathan had a breakout game last night where he was the leading scorer and the go-to all-around guy, kind of like Scotty on the G League level last night with all-around stats and making all his free throws. These guys really are twinning in some ways. So good job, Jonathan, with your best game so far as a pro. I appreciate you, man. And I'm you know what? I was waiting for a game like this, and we finally got it. It's fantastic. My second star of the game is actually Jared Rhoden off the bench. He also got 24 points for the Raptors 905 in Memphis last night. 30 minutes, 9 of 16 from the field. He shot 50% from 3 with 3 of 6, 3 of 5 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 turnover, a +6 with 24 points in 30 minutes. Jared Rhoden's that stealth contributor to the 905 that is absolutely a big part of why we're winning. And it may not get a lot of the credit or the shine, but Jared, I see you and I'm paying attention to what you're doing. And you are doing a fantastic job, man. You're a true pro, and I appreciate the way you play the game, and I appreciate what you're doing for the Raptors 905 and helping them win right now. If anybody's going to pay attention and give you notice in the middle of it all, I'm going to. I will, if nobody else does. That's what I'm going to say right now about Jared Rhoden. This third star of the game is the double-double of Aris Shamshay. In some ways, Mobo graduated with the 24-point game. Well, Shamshay graduated. Well, they took away one of his rebounds this morning, apparently. He did not get a double-double after all. These assholes, why did they do this to these guys? It was a double-double last night when I went to bed, and they put the stat line up. But now I'm looking at the official score sheet, and now Shamshay only has 9 rebounds on here. That's so dirty. Well, we're still going to give him the third star because he shot really well. 26 minutes. Shamshay shot 7 of 10 from the field. Was 1 of 2 at the free throw line. 3 offensive rebounds for 9 rebounds altogether. They took 1 away. 1 assist, 1 block, 2 turnovers, +3 with 16 points in 26 minutes. Shamshay, very, very good game. In some ways, you know what? Your double-double where you had like a whole bunch of rebounds recently is better than this game, but you had another double-double. Honestly, up until I don't know when they took that rebound away from you. But anyway, the trend is you're getting more double-doubles regularly right now. And that's something that I want to see. So, Shamshay, good job coming off the bench and getting a double-double, well, having it stolen. Jamison Battle's my 4-star. So it's good to see all the guys that are rookies that are on 905 playing down there are in my stars. And it's not the guys that are G League guys. We're actually seeing Jonathan, Ulrich, and Jamison in the stars of the game. Jamison Battle, another game where he shot extremely well from outside. He is leading the G League in free point percentage right now. It's like 59.5% he's shooting from 3 right now. 5 of 9 from the field last night, 4 of 5 from 3. He shot and made his only free throw, 7 rebounds, 2 blocks for Jamison Battle last night, a +5 with 15 points in 33 minutes. They're utilizing the extremely good three-point shooting talent of Jamison Battle much more effectively in recent games on the 905 and getting him involved and finding him with open shots, and it's paying off. That's what I'm going to say about that. Jamison, you keep going. You're fantastic, man. You've been so good this year and coming from out of the blue. Frank Kaminsky is my final star of the game. We'll give some shine to Frank the Tank for last night. 27 minutes, 4 of 8 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 block, a +13 with 11 points in 27 minutes. Nothing too crazy fancy. I just like his efficiency. Making 3 of 4 threes is nice. And also 6 rebounds and 5 assists with 11 points. That's an all-round kind of play game by them. Also, some honorable mentions. I guess I'll give an honorable mention to Kennedy Chandler, 5 of 10 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, 1 block, 2 turnovers, -2 with 13 points in 25 minutes. Chandler stopped trying to be the scorer, and he's playing all around more with getting 7 assists. Thank you, Kennedy. We needed you to do this before, but you were being a ball hog. And Evan Gilliard, also honorable mention, as the starting point guard, had 7 assists with 0 turnovers. 23 minutes, 2 of 4 from the field, 1 of 1 at the free throw line, 7 assists, 2 steals, 0 turnovers, plus 14 with 5 points in 23 minutes. Evan Gilliard, good job. AJ Lawson, 4 of 10 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, not bad. 5 of rebounds, 1 assist, 3 turnovers, 11 points for AJ in this game in 23 minutes. And then the other player in the game last night was Eugene Omoruyi, who was not totally efficient. 21 minutes, 3 of 9 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, 0 of 1 at the free throw, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 turnovers, 6 points for Eugene last night. So, yeah, great job by the Raptors 905 beating the Memphis Hustle. The Memphis Hustle do not have a good record, but they do have a very good fan base that loves their Yuki. And in fact, in the Raptors 905 YouTube chat, there was mostly Yuki fans in there last night. The 905 chat did not have the Raptors freak family in there with them because we were busy watching 2 games and not able to be in the chat totally. So it was taken over by Memphis Hustle fans, specifically Kawamura fans that were watching. Of course, Kawamura did not have a good game. He had the worst game of the Memphis Hustle, minus 17 in his plus minus, only 7 points on 2 of 9 shooting, 1 of 7 from the field. 4 assists, though, with 2 turnovers. Yeah, the player of note on the other side was Zion Pullen, who shot 14 of 17 with 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 32 points. And he was carrying the hustle. Yeah, we did see David Johnson for 24 minutes last night, former Raptors draft pick. 2 of 9 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 points for David Johnson, a minus 13 in 24 minutes. And Canadian Nate Hinton did come into the game for a little while also. 26 minutes for him with only 3 points scored, but 13 rebounds and 2 blocks for Nate Hinton. Yeah, great job by the Raptors 905 in winning this game, closing it out. They outscored Memphis 29-17 in the last frame to take it home. Because the Hustle started strong. They scored 41 points in the first quarter and were beating our ass out the gate. But the Raptors 905 made it up by the end of the game and made sure they won by the end to go to a 10-4 record and the absolute number 1 team in the Eastern Conference of the G League right now. We are at the top of our conference for the whole entire Eastern side. The Raptors 905 are number 1, baby. There is a team on the Western side that has 3 losses that is number 1 over there, but we are the best team in the East right now. 10-4, Raptors 905, baby. That's right. We did shoot way better than them. 54% from the field, 53% from 3, and 74% from free throws. We got out rebounded by 4 rebounds for the Hustle, 48-44. The assist total for the Raptors 905, 32. Love to see that. 17 turnovers, though. They did have more turnovers than the Hustle. Then the points in the paint were won by the Memphis Hustle also. But a fantastic effort by Andrew Jones's team. Really, really proud of them. They are a real team now. In the Showcase Cup, they were a collection of individuals running around on a court that wasn't a team. But now they're actually playing like a team, and you can tell they're bonded like a team, and they're getting good results because of that. So there you go. Monique is here. Super fan Mo said, didn't think I'd make it into the stream. Great to have IQ back. Bull shot better. Davion impressing me. On to the next one. Rides at a 10:15 today, the event. I'm excited. I wish I was going. I was just telling Adriana, since I'm at your house, I could probably get down there easier, and we should have gone. But I'm an idiot. I didn't get tickets, and they're sold out, to be honest. They were advertising on the game last night that there was tickets still available, but when you go to their website, it's sold out. You can't get a ticket to today's event at noon at Jurassic Park next to the arena. There's a Raptors fan day for the first time in their history, and it's been advertised as games and prizes and meeting Raptors alumni and Raptors players because they're back in town, and they've got a homestand now. They played in Toronto last night. They're going to play in Toronto tomorrow, so they're around. So there's a big chance that Monique will be down there with current Raptors today at noon at this Raptors Fan Day event. The first ever Raptors Fan Day is what they're announcing. It could be a huge, big deal. And I'm really glad that Mo's going so she can be telling us what happened there, because I have no idea. They've never had an event like this before. So we're going to have to see what it's all about. And Monique is going down there very shortly. to go see what's up. Yeah. Yeah. Davion was fantastic last night. I thought IQ was good too, but they are very different feels. And did you guys see how Scotty was so actively yelling during the game off the bench? Like he is calling out defensive stuff throughout the game because he cares that much. And he really is trying to keep them organized. I worry about Scotty getting too frustrated with his teammates because they're not able to do it as well as he'd like. So that could be a problem. But in some ways, that's a good problem because that's the kind of shit that Kobe and Jordan were like. I'd much rather him be mad at them and hold them to a high standard than to be lazy and not have a standard at all. So with the way Scotty is with his teammates and holding them accountable on defensive assignments and what they're supposed to be doing in the system is really, really good leadership because that is a la Bean Bryant and Jeffrey Jordan. That's what it is. It's a la that. So I love it. Scotty does look like he's getting really mad at people. And there's times where I see him on the bench and he's sitting. He was talking to Orlando Robinson on the bench last night. I was like, is Scotty annoyed with Orlando Robinson? No, he's just a competitor. He wants to win, and he's trying to get the best out of his teammates around him. And being the leader, the number one guy, he can have more of an effect doing this as this guy than when having Pascal and Fred around who are senior to him. In some ways, he can set the tone this way. And that's part of the reason why we needed to do what we did with our roster is so that Scotty could hold the standard and in some ways be a dictator. We want Scott to do this. And in some ways, him being the guy who's really on people to do things correctly is really good, guys. I'm telling you, because he is the guy who can say this stuff and people will be like, yeah, you're right, Scott. You're right, because he can back it up himself. And that's what I'm saying. He's not going to ask anybody else to put more effort out there or do the things that he won't do. Now he's at a higher ability, so he can do it better than them. So in some ways, they have to try even harder. And that's how a great player makes his teammates better. That's how Kobe Bryant did it, and that's how Michael Jordan do it. And that's how Scotty Barnes is doing it too. That's how he's doing it. That's right. I love it. Trevor's saying IQ's return looked good. Deadly on the step back three. Yeah, he's one of my stars of the game. So we'll go ahead and do the 3 stars of the game for last night. It was nice just to see Quickly back in the jersey on the court playing for the Raptors again. Because in some ways, that's something we're paying for. We want to see it happen, right? My number 1 star of the game is Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes got a double-double last night. 33 minutes, 8 of 20 from the field. He missed both his three-point attempts. He was 4 of 5 at the free throw line, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 block, 1 turnover, 1 foul, 20 points, an even plus minus, no plus or minus, just 0. 20 points in 33 minutes. Scotty was the leader. Scotty was trying. There was some stuff that Scott did in the game last night with turnarounds was OP, man. There was one he did, and Alvin pointed it out, where he turned away from the double team coming, and that was advanced level franchise player shit. I'm telling you. And the confidence he has with these little turnarounds on the baseline is phenomenal. I love the shots. They're so old school, and that is Kawhi shit right there. Anybody who laughed at my comparisons of Kawhi Leonard to Scotty Barnes, who's laughing now, motherfuckers? I told y'all this shit when he got drafted. He could be like Kawhi Leonard. And people said, no, he's like Draymond Green. Bullshit. That was an insult. You think Scotty Barnes is like Draymond Green? No. Go watch him last night and see how he was operating with the ball in the post. That is Kawhi Leonard. I'm sorry. That is. That just is. It is. Second star of the game is the returning Emmanuel Quickly, who was limited to 15 minutes last night because of minutes restriction, conditioning, coming back from injury. And in some ways, I felt like one of the keys of the game would have been, let's play Emmanuel more and not have a minutes restriction, because he was very effective last night in his 15 minutes. He scored 14 points in 15 minutes, and he came out the gate hot and scored the first 5 points of the game for the Raptors right away. And he was very active, and he was very capable. And Scotty said after the game, it's nice having Emmanuel back because he's a high-level shooter who's going to make shots and help score for us. And that's what he was doing last night. But unfortunately, because his first game back, we could only play him for 15 minutes. This is different than the last time he came back. The last time he came back, he got more minutes in his first game back. So, and he talked about this after the game, that coming back, and apparently this injury is not a hip injury that he has right now. It's a groin injury. He's actually pulled his groin. That's why he's out right now. And he said that it wasn't on that pick play that everybody thought it was in that game with the last game he played. it was not because of that pick. He just has a groin injury that he had somewhere outside of a game. And because of the injury, has been very painful. And he was still feeling it last night, just so y'all know. Uh, he was not able to ramp up conditioning to come back in this game like he did the last time. So that's part of the reason why his minutes restriction was so low compared to the last time he returned from injury. He played like 30 minutes in his first game back. In the last time, I was like, oh, he's not on minutes restriction. He must be fine. But he couldn't keep his conditioning up this time because of the groin injury's severity of pain. So that's a big part of what's happening with Emmanuel. He was still hurting last night while he was playing, just so y'all know. He's not fully healed. It's a weird groin injury. So 5 of 8 for Emmanuel, 3 of 5 from 3, 1 of 2 at the free throw line, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, a +5, and 15 minutes of 14 points. Yeah, it's just solid. In some ways, if we gotten him between 20 to 30 minutes, maybe we would have had enough firepower to win this game in the end. I don't know. I can't diss Davion, though, because he was hitting his open shots last night. He was, for sure. My third star of the game for last night's Raptors loss to the Bulls is Jakob Poeltl. I just love how Jakob was blocking people last night. I had to give him some credit for that great defensive intensity. You know, there was a point in time in the middle of the game where I was like, Scotty and Jakob are not letting people do nothing in the lane. They were like a gang of 2 guys that were just like mobbing whoever was on the Bulls, trying to come in the lane and score. And they were absolutely effective at stopping these guys. It was crazy how aggressive they were. I was like, damn, look at how Poeltl and Barnes are guarding the lane right now. They were such like gatekeepers, and they were so aggressive, so energetic with it and coming at people. It's scary, man, because in some ways, like, look, Jakob Poeltl's a great defensive player. He can block shots. We saw that last night. He got 5. Scotty can too. Scotty's a great defensive player too. Ever go and talk about Twin Towers in Cleveland and how dangerous Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are as 2 bigs in their shot blocking and defense for Cleveland? We got that shit with our guys too on the down low. You don't have to count Scotty as a center. He's a shot blocking threat. And you can put Jakob and Scotty out there. They're going to be doing some defending of the lane. It was hilarious, man. Scotty is so aggressive on defense right now. He really is getting in people's faces, clapping at them, and just coming up. He's all over the place, all kinds of different defensive ways. With his point of attack defense, with his down low defense, he's so versatile. He can be a top level defender at any spot. And the stuff inside is the stuff that's impressing me. The physical stuff, the shot blocking, and the stuff right around the rim. So good. But yeah, Jakob, 4 of 8 from the field, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 blocks, and 8 points. He didn't even get double digits in points, but the solid 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 blocks on his stat line just impressed me. I really love the blocks. The blocks are so fun. I love yelling block up when I'm watching a Raptors game. Block up! It's so fun. It's so fun. Some honorable mentions, I guess. I'll give around real quick. Let's give an honorable mention to RJ Barrett. 8 of 17 from the field in 31 minutes. 1 of 4 at the 3. 2 of 6 at the free throw line. And those problems with the free throw line continued last night. The weird thing was I thought he was listening because the first free throws that he made the first free throw, and he used his legs on his free throw. And I was like, man, RJ, that's the critique I told you, that you need to bring the power up through your legs to make your free throws. And you weren't short on that free throw, but then you forgot about it. And you didn't have any routine to your free throws, and you shot 2 for 6 at the free throw line by the end of it. In some ways, that's 4 free throws you're missing. You're a leader on this team, RJ. Scotty's the leader. You're a leader. And in some ways, you need to lead by making your free throws better. I'm sorry, bro. This has been going on this whole time since you've been on the Raptors for a year now. And in some ways, you need to be a better free throw shooter. You're better than this. You're a smart guy. You're a very good fundamental player in all kinds of other ways. So why do we have to clean up your free throw fundamentals? Because we really need to. You need to get a set routine. You need to have a rhythm to your free throw routine that you can fall into, and it's just automatic. You make your free throws, because this is getting out of hand, bro. It really, really is. And it's going to hurt us over time in major ways at some point. It already has in low key ways, but it's going to hurt us in a major way at some point. And I'm not going to like that. 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 turnovers for RJ, 19 points. A minus 11 in 31 minutes. He's carrying. He's giving us points. He's trying to score. He's out there fighting. He's playing for his city. I love you, RJ. Just make your free throws. That's what I'm saying, bro. Grady Dick in the starting lineup, 4 of 12, 2 of 7 from 3. You know, if Grady had made a couple more of his threes, that could have helped us a lot last night. There were some shots that Grady got wide open, and he just didn't hit them. In some ways, the biggest thing I want to see Grady do is get his efficiency up. He's having too many games where he shoots like 4 of 12 or like 3 of 12. I want you to start shooting more 5 of 10 or 5 of 11 or 6 of 11, Grady, instead of like 3 of 15 or 3 of 14 or 4 of 12 like you did last night. I just want to see you make a bit more of your shots, because the thing is, you're getting good quality open looks right now. The attention on you isn't as intense as it was a couple months in the season. They're laying off of you all of a sudden, so you have time to take your time and make sure you make your shots, Grady. That you have an open shot. You're that kind of guy. You need to make it every time, because when you miss your open shots, it's deflating. And this is your job. This is your number one thing. You're a dead eye, and you got to make those open shots, man. 3 of 4 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 13 points for Grady in 29 minutes. That's an area where we could have gotten help. Garrett Temple came in for garbage time late. 1 shot made with 2 points, 2 assists, a +3 in 3 minutes. Bruce Brown, horrible game last night. He may have been one of the worst players on our team. In fact, on the down low, one of the reasons why we lost last night is our bench production sucked. Well, who didn't play last night? Yeah, guess who? Yeah, and I know there's a lot of people in Raptor spaces that are probably talking about Chris Boucher in a way like, why didn't he play last night? Well, Darko explained it last night after the game, that Kelly and Chris did not play because they're vets and they're professionals, and they're true professionals. As Darko said over and over again, Chris is a true professional. He had no problem with this. He knew he wasn't going to play last night. In fact, I could have predicted he wasn't going to play last night. Darko said he wanted to play Jacoby. He wanted to develop Jacoby, and he put him out there and played him instead. And he also wanted to give Orlando Robinson more time while he's still on the 10-day. So those are the reasons why Chris and Kelly didn't play, is because of Jacoby Walter and Orlando Robinson, y'all. Now, you could say on the down, though, partly Bruce Brown needing to get traded also. Because in some ways, if I really was going to make a choice about who should be sitting out as far as old vets, Garrett Temple, Kelly Olynyk, Bruce Brown sounds way more the right decision than Chris Boucher not getting in the game. In some ways, the length of people like Jalen Smith for the Bulls and Buzelis could have been counteracted a bit with Chris Boucher actually being in the rotation playing last night. So I agree with people that Chris should have played last night. The Bulls were out rebounding us, and they looked longer than us, and Chris could have helped us with that. So I would have subbed all of Bruce Brown's minutes out, not played Bruce Brown last night, and played Chris Boucher last night. But we know the front office is probably telling Darko, you have to play Bruce right now, because we're still trying to move him, and we need him to look good. They don't, maybe this is a good sign that we're trying to keep Chris, because we don't have to showcase him for a trade. But either way, I agree with everybody saying that Chris should have played last night. But I think he should have taken Bruce's minutes. 19 minutes for Bruce. No, 17 minutes. 0 for 3 from the field. Misses only 3-point attempt. He had 1 assist, 1 steal, a minus 19 with 0 points in 17 minutes. That's cardio, Bruce. You were doing the imposter Bruce last night. After seeing Bruce productive off the bench, maybe even we want him around still kind of Bruce, seeing you revert back to cardio Bruce in a game like this, not giving any bench production. Like I said, you should have got the DMP, not Chris Boucher. That's what I'm saying right here. In some ways, we really did low-key miss Jamal Shed last night, guys. I'm not going to lie. When low-key did. Orlando Robinson, not the best game last night. He was okay. 14 minutes, 1 of 3 from the field, missed 1 of his free throws out of 2, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 fouls, 3 points in 14 minutes. He's trying. He's getting shots here and there. Some of it's ugly. The thing that your strengths, Orlando, are being really big and being good defensively. In some ways, that's all I really want from you. That is something we need on this team. So you're very, very valuable. In some ways, I don't want you doing janky stuff out of your job description just to try and impress or try and show people, I can do more, like 3-point shooting and some other stuff. Keep it simple. Keep it really simple to what you do really well, and do that to the fullest. And you will have a spot on this team long term. I'm telling you right now, You need to do the things like the completely be a defensive lockdown like you were in the couple games that you've played for us so far. You need to rebound the hell out of things, get a block shot, do stuff like that. Make your free throws. That's another thing that I'm really judging you on, Orlando, is do you make your free throws? And you going 1 of 2, well, that's 50%. In the other games, you've gone up there, you've shot very well at free throw line. So I know you're a good free throw shooter. So these are the things, like, don't make it fancy. Don't try and do anything cute. Just do what you do, what you're good, and be a big man out there, rebound and defend the rim. That's the best thing you could do to get this job and stay on the Raptors. I'm telling you right now. Davion Mitchell, 23 minutes off the bench. Coming off the bench, he played more than Emmanuel. So we did have that Mitchell kind of feel with the unit. In fact, they reverted to the old starting lineup at crunch time later in the game of Davion, Dick, RJ, Scotty, and Jakob. And, because that team has had a lot of success in recent games. So that's something that I like that Darko did, even with starting Emmanuel, which in some ways is for window dressing and stats. Davion really did play the bulk of the game as the point guard for the Raptors last night. So 1 of 3 for the field for Davion. He only got 1 shot. It was 3 points for him. 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 0 turnovers, a -5. He's just not as effective, I guess, in some ways in this game in particular last night coming off the bench. I don't know. In some ways, it's a tone set. Like I said, you have to set a tone at the beginning of the game. And one of the ways you set the tone is you try and stifle the other team's offense and not let them get into it. Well, that's part of the reason why I'm an advocate for Davion Mitchell to start on this team, is because that tone gets set right from the start. And then a team like the Bulls last night don't get rolling and just start feel good with making a lot of shots, and then they're in their zone. We don't need that. And in some ways, that's why Mitchell's a great start, is because he really makes it hard for their point guards to get initiated in their offense. And they have a hard time just even getting going as a team overall in the game. That has been a secret to our success in these recent wins games that we had. Yeah. Ochai Agbaji was not good last night in some ways. 2 of 6 in 22 minutes. 0 for 4 from 3. Missed all of his threes last night. That's what I'm saying. The 3-point misses last night really hurt between Ochai and Grady. And Jacoby, even, he had a couple of shots that he put up that he didn't make. Scotty didn't make any of his threes either. RJ 1 for 4. So overall, bad 3-point shooting. Emmanuel and Davion were the only 2 that really shot well from 3. Yeah, actually, Davion had I read the wrong stat line. Davion was 3 for 4 from 3. I remember him making multiple threes. He was good. 3 of 7. I read the wrong stat line. 1 rebound, 2 assists. -21 with 9 points for Davion. I read Orlando's stat line for some reason. Sorry about that, guys. Going back to Agbaji, he did have 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, 4 points in 22 minutes. That's just not the point production that we've been wanting. On the other side of things, the Bulls got 7 guys in double digits, and 4 of them were off the bench. 4 guys off the bench got double digits. And meanwhile, we only had 5 guys with double digits. And Jacoby was carrying the bench. He did almost all the scoring off the bench for us. So bench scoring was a factor. We got outscored off the bench. And some of those bench guys just ran cardio like Bruce Brown, is what I'm saying. Jacoby Walter, 3 for 7 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 7 of 8, the free throw line. I like that. He's very professional at the free throw line. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 14 points for Jacoby in 18 minutes. So another good points production from Jacoby. So maybe we needed more Jacoby and more Emmanuel, and this game might have gone a little bit better for the Raptors by the end of it. There was a chance that we could try and come back. It was down by 10 with 10 minutes to go, but the Bulls busted it wide open more closer to the end of the game and got a good cushion away from us. Like I said, I'm going to give some kudos to their side. Buzelis, 12 points in 26 minutes on 4-8 shooting. He had 7 rebounds. That was a huge part, and 3 blocks. And he was the highest plus-minus for them, a +18. Patrick Williams was a feisty force off the bench for the Bulls last night. There was shit talking between him and Scotty last night. If you saw it, the Florida State Seminoles are friends. Just so y'all know, Patrick Williams works out with Scotty in the offseason at Tallahassee at Florida State. And they're old friends. In fact, Patrick's mentored Scott a little bit. So a lot of that talking trash on the court is very friendly, and it's about Florida State. It's about that connection. So, yeah, Jalen Smith is a fantastic player. In some ways, I really want him on the Raptors because the dude is amazing. He seems like he gets taller every year,
And he's such a smart player. Like the stuff he was doing out there is at different levels, whether he's making threes, which he shot 3 of 6 from 3, 7 of 10 from the field. He's getting rebounds. He's really good near the rim, and he's also a very good defender. He's very hard to shoot around. So, man, what a big pickup for the Bulls. If they were really kind of had their shit together better, people like Buzelis and Smith should have elevated their game. In some ways, I wonder what they would have been like if they had gotten rid of Levine and kept DeRozan right now. Because, man, in some ways, the Bulls are, it's weird because the Bulls have seemed like they've been close to doing some good things for a while now, and then they just get screwed up somehow on an underlying way. But right now, with people like Jalen Smith and Buzelis, these are the kind of players Bulls fans should covet and want to hold on to really bad. Tall, long, lanky, talented all-around players that are playing amazing. I'm telling you, those two guys were the two guys that really impressed me last night. Lonzo Ball, I don't know what you're doing out there. That was interesting that Alvin Williams was calling him a dirty player last night. Did you see that? Lonzo had a very dirty push on RJ, pushing him out of bounds and grabbing his arm. It looked like he hurt RJ at one point. And I'm wondering if Lonzo, because he was sitting out for so long, is a dirty player. He's trying to hurt other people in this league. Either way, fuck you, Lonzo Ball. You're going to be a dirty little ass, like aggressive player with your dirty ass little hits. Fuck you, Lonzo. Fuck you. This is what I'm going to say. You were the Ball brother that I actually kind of like. The one that I said is an actual NBA player and not a Harlem Globetrotter. But, man, if you're going to be a goon, and you're going to be like this guy who just came back, you can't see the other side and how sad it was that you were out, that you're going to try and intentionally hurt people in the league, and they might be out like you were. That's just not right, bro. You should know better, is what I'm saying. You should know better. Vucevic, a double-double, 21 points, 12 rebounds. Solid player, man. Solid center. He really, really is. Kobe White, phenomenal. 25 points on 9 of 16 shooting, 5 of 8 from 3. Really, really the scoring leader for them. That's absolutely OP. He's really quick and he's all over the place, and he's a really good shooter from outside. You have to keep track of him. You really do. And we didn't do a good job of that in some way. DeSumo, 6 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. And Giddey, 15 points, 6 assists, and 7 rebounds. Yeah. I mean, they had a solid crew of guys that did solid stuff in certain spots. Meanwhile, we had Scotty doing something, Emmanuel doing something, but then nothing going on with the bench last night. The bench could not do anything to help the Raptors last night, which is too bad. It's too bad. So a couple of different factors leading to the end of our win streak and the Bulls winning last night. In some ways, I hate this. We sweep New Orleans. We win the season series with Atlanta. I'm wanting to win season series with teams. We've won a season series against a couple teams already, even with our bad record. And, we're down 0-2 the Bulls, and it sucks because both the games we played against the Bulls were the games here in Toronto, and we're already down 0-2 to them. We're going to play 2 more games against them in Chicago before the end of the year, but, of course, they're going to have home advantage of that. The other thing is, remember, the game that we lost to them by 1 point last fall was an in-season tournament game. That's right. So, yeah, we've had some get back to get at them, but unfortunately, Scotty and RJ and Emmanuel could not cash on that, even with the barbecue yak dick starting last night. That's right. We got our should be our regular starting lineup that played last night. That's right. Yeah, I thought IQ looked good too, Trevor. I did. I thought he looked good last night. Yeah, and his shot looked really good. He came out on fire and stuff like that. We'll have to see how things go with these tougher opponents. In some ways, it's going to really pay off that IQ's back, playing against the Clippers and the Knicks and the Grizzlies very much soon. So that's going to be very important, that stuff. Yeah. All right, let's see. Nins is here. Good morning, RFC, Raptor Freak crew. I was enjoying the Raptors game last night until my girlfriend told me there was a plane crash 4 miles away from us. I'm telling you guys, this is crazy. There's already weird stuff going on. Like they're denying entry into United States for all kinds of people for political reasons right now. There's an author who came from Canada who wanted to come down, and they wrote a book about college football, and it's not very nice. It's a negative book about college football and the system of the college football in the United States. Well, the United States government denied him entry into the country to do a lecture on his book. And it's political. It's absolutely political. There's no freedom of speech at this point. There's going to be a dictator down there that if you do not believe what he believes, He's going to force his reality down on people through the media and trying to make it the status quo. And it's going to be a dictatorship. It's the signs are already there. I'm telling you. And the fact that he's not going to let certain people come in because of he doesn't like the way what they're talking about, that's not freedom of speech. So everything about the United States is going out the window under the second term of President Trump. Just so y'all know, this is not a democracy anymore. This is an oligarchy that's headed by a maniac who's this narcissist and an absolute con man. So yeah, that sucks. That's saddening. And like I said, I know that the players have to fly, and maybe they can get some special protection for things because it's just the way the NBA is. But I'd be scared as hell to fly a plane over the United States right now because of the deregulation that Elon Musk is doing to the government down there. And it's not going to be safe to do a lot of things down there. In fact, you guys may not want to eat anything that is processed food anymore. You may need to watch out about things because all the people that are watching out for the food oversight to make sure we don't get poison, like salmonella and stuff like that, they're not in jobs anymore. And that's the thing about cost cutting. Oh, we're going to save so much money. Bullshit. And some people think that'd be great. They're cutting the fat from the government. No, motherfucker. They're cutting the safeguards to keep you and I safe. And more people are going to tragically get hurt because of this shit. It's so irresponsible. And it's one of the most disgusting things. It's kind of like Elon and Donald want to put the American people in a meat grinder and grind up some of them just for the hell of it and not give a shit about it. So, yeah, the people are a meat grinder. They don't give a shit about them. They're going to run them through the planes and they're going to keep crashing until some sane person comes, or maybe we can get a criminal case against them for being irresponsible. In some ways, the lives that have been lost this week in planes need to be sued against the president. They need to come at the very top, the people responsible for these tragedies, and they have a good case. And if the United States is a place of justice, well, hopefully the right things and the outcomes come. But you know what? I'm very jaded on this. I don't think there's any checks and balances to stop these fucking criminals, honestly, from what they're doing with the government in the United States right now. So that's sad, man. These guys are going to rip down a great idea of what is the United States is, and they're going to take the flag, rip it in shreds, and piss on shit all over it just for their own gain and financially. I'm telling you, that's what's going on. Nins, I wish you well. I hope you're safe, and I hope nobody perished in that crash. That's right. Monique saying good win for the 905. Yeah, it was fantastic. I know you couldn't watch both of them. It's just too much going on. I didn't pay attention to the hustle game as much as I should have. But the box score tells you, and I did watch the end of it after the game was over. Jimmy saying no Boucher and Kelly minutes. Yeah, these guys are Canadian. These guys are vets. These guys have been around, and we know who they are. In some ways, I get why they didn't play. Kelly was available. Kelly was healthy. Kelly could have played last night, but he didn't. He didn't put him back in because it's not necessary. In some ways, Orlando Robinson played instead of Kelly, and that is good because Orlando's got a time limit on how long he can be here, and we do need to look at him more. And Darko is very explicit about that. So, I mean, in some ways, I'm more mad about Chris not playing, but in some ways, I'm not going to get mad to the point where I'm mad at Darko. It's his decision, and he did what he did. But if I could have done things a little differently, I would have DMP'd Brown and played Boucher because that trade-off for height and rebounding and energy is better, trust me, than Bruce. I would have played Chris and Bruce's minutes is what I would have done last night. Yeah. Nameless saying CB and Kelly most likely gonzo. No, I read it exactly the opposite way, Paisano. I read that exactly the opposite way. You say because they didn't play last night, you think they're gone? No. If they were trying to trade them, they put them on showcase. Think about the logic, Nameless. That's why Bruce played and they didn't, because he's the one they're trying to trade. They have to continue to play Bruce. They can't not play Bruce. If I was Darko and we weren't trying to trade Bruce, I wouldn't have played Bruce last night. I would have played Chris. So your logic's a little flawed. If they were trying to trade those guys, they would be out there playing and they'd be showcasing them. So it's exactly the opposite of what you think, Nameless. Seriously. Seriously. And Chris has also let it be known he wants to sign an extension with us. And, the Raptors are very happy with him right now. He's being a true pro. And in some ways, like Garrett Temple, he's a fantastic person in our leadership group, and he's a part of the history. He's the only Raptor who's been here longer than Scotty. But in some ways, he totally gets Scotty's show. And he's a great person who's best friends with Scotty. So in some ways, that tells you that in some ways, if they're going to ask Scott, "You want us to trade Chris?" He's going to tell him no. So let's not get it twisted. Don't read into a DMP last night and say, "Oh, they're most likely Gonzo." I don't even know if the Raptors are going to even make a trade right now, guys. I'm leaning more and more towards this is going to be another one of those years where everybody's dying for the Raptors to make a trade and they're just waiting for it to happen. Then they don't do jack shit. And I sit back and laugh because all these idiots spent all this time wasting time talking about it, wanting it, pining for it, and then it didn't even happen. And they're all mad about it afterwards. That's what might happen. In fact, it's more likely that'll happen in some ways than a whole bunch of trades or something like that. So I'm going to be laughing when nothing happens and everybody who talked all about trades for the last month looks stupid and waste of time and talking about it the whole time. Because I know Masai and Bobby, and they're not making trades just for the sake of making trades. They're only going to do it if it's in the right direction for the Raptors organization. That's the only way they do it. Trevor's saying they're saying the plane full out of the sky last night and entered a neighborhood. That's horrible. So this happened somewhere in Pennsylvania where a plane just fell out of the sky and fell in the neighborhood. Yeah, nobody's flying in my family right now. I know my brother and his wife do fly a lot. I hope that they are thinking about this and being smart. Because seriously, this is chaos. This is crazy. In some ways, this is by total design. And the crazy thing is, who's the checks and balances? Who's going to come and say, you are a fucking criminal? You just have these people's lives and deaths are on your hands, and you need to be held accountable for this. I hope at some point there is some accountability for Donald Trump and Elon Musk, but I don't know. In some ways, I'm jaded, and I feel like in some ways I've given up on the system being fair and just in the United States. It's completely corrupted at this point. So we'll have to see. Prove me wrong, United States. You say you're all this and that. You taught me that in school. You brainwashed me as a young kid living in Tallahassee, Florida, about how great the United States is. Well, prove your fucking self now, motherfuckers. You think you're so great with your damn country, talking about how you're the best damn country in the world. Well, prove that shit now. You got planes falling out of the sky now. And that's worse than a third world country. You know what's worse than a third world country? A first world country ran like a third world country. How about that, United States? You don't like what I'm saying, Americans? Well, go fucking get in the streets and rebel against your goddamn country government right now. Because seriously, if you don't do it now, you're going to have to do it at some point. So you better get out there and start now because this shit is not going in the right direction so far. I'm going to say that right now. Yeah, I wish you had talking about the Chicago sky and not a sky that a plane fell out of. That's right. Fiercely saying, good morning, fam, and happy Saturday. IQ on restricted minutes was a smart move. He was still productive. The Bulls and their three-point shooting was annoying. Yeah, I got to hand it to them. You know, they do a really good job shooting their shots, and they're organized well. Their coach is really good. The friendship between Billy Donovan and Darko was on display last night. They had mic'd Darko for the game. I love when they do that because you really get to see how Darko coaches. You hear what he's saying to the players and different people. And you got a lot of the personal insight between the relationship of Coach Donovan and Coach Darko and their friendship. They work together in Oklahoma City. And they're like this. And that was nice to see like that. But don't get it twisted. When these guys meet up, like in a game last night, Toronto and Chicago, it's a coaching battle. And they want to go at each other as foes, but very good friends also. So Billy Donovan's a great coach. That's one thing I've learned in the last couple of years, even with the confusion of the Bulls and everything and their mistakes and stuff. It's not him. He's a fantastic coach. And a game like last night shows you why he's a good coach, because he had a really good game plan and they followed it and they did a good job. They played way better last night than I expected them to. If you had asked me that the Bulls were going to shoot that well last night in the morning preview that we did yesterday, I would have told you, I don't think so. Our defense is playing too good, but they did. They did shoot really well. And some of it is just getting back on transition better than us to get to those open shots. So, oh man, it's crazy. Yeah, Nameless saying, so nice to see IQ, man. They better wrap him in bubble wrap and caution tape and keep him on that 5-minute time restriction for the rest of the year. That was interesting. Like Darko didn't play him in very long stints. He was coming out there for 5 minutes at the most and then coming right back out. He had 3 stints of 5 minutes. 5 minutes at the very beginning of the game, 5 minutes in the second, and then 5 minutes in the third. And then he didn't even play in the fourth. In some ways, you could, Brian Winders, what if Emmanuel had played in the fourth and had his last 5 minutes in the fourth? Could he have scored enough to help make up the gap? Maybe. That's the great player that he is. And we saw it right off the bat, like how quickly he was getting around. Yeah, IQ's name was saying if IQ gets injured one more time, I quit. Plus, who else shit themselves just a touch when Scotty grabbed his ankle? Let's not talk about this shit. Seriously. Like, seriously, don't even put this into the world. Don't even utter it. I have a way of protecting them right now from injury, and it's working right now. It may be a weird ritual that I'm only doing, but I'm doing it, and it's working. And so let's not even utter this. Scotty is over dramatic. Just understand this, okay? Scotty is a very effusive person with his emotions through his face. He's very loud. He's he's a drama queen. Let's just put it that way. Scotty can be a drama queen on the court, whether he's yelling about getting fouled or he gets a little hurt, he'll over exaggerate it. Just understand this. I've noticed this trend since he started playing the NBA that Scotty sometimes is really super hurt, but sometimes he's milking it for the refs, just so you know. Now, we may hear about Scotty having a lingering ankle injury from twisting it a little bit last night. He stepped a little bit on Lonzo's foot. It was stupid. It was so dumb. But he was moving around fine afterwards. And that's the place you look at afterwards. Well, is he still moving around? Is he in pain? Is he hobbling? Is he limping? No, he was moving around fine afterwards. Now, is he going to feel it this morning after the adrenaline of the game comes down and stuff? Yeah, probably. He's going to have to ice it. But we've got to remember also, Scotty has pushed the limit on his minimum games to be played to get postseason awards. So he's not trying to miss any more games. So if Scotty is a little bit hurt, he's going to suit up and play and shut up, and he will not tell anyone that his ankle's still messed up, just so you know. So, yeah, don't worry about this. It's a case of rah. Whatever will be, nameless. So do not ever worry about injuries. They're just things that happen. And let's not bring them into the realm of things by uttering them or talking about them at all either. I'll just say that. But, yeah, if Scotty's hurt, he better be really hurt, because he won't be in then, but he's not going to be that hurt. Watch, and he'll continue to play. I'm going to tell you that right now. Fiercely saying, currently at my daughter's game starting at 10 a.m. Let's keep the positive vibes going, and I hope Chris and Kelly stay. Yeah, what he just said is asinine. In some ways, nameless, you're off on your takes right now. I'm just going to say that. No, that's more likely that they're not trading him because they're not playing him to show him off. So I'll just say that. That's more like it right there. Name was saying, yep, we may not win again. I hope you all savored that sweet win streak. Yeah, once again, you're completely wrong. We're going to win a lot in March. February's going to be tough. But we're going to win a lot in March. Just trust me on this. We're going to have another month like January and March where we're going to have a winning month. We're going to win more games than we lose. February won't be like that. We're going to lose again in February. So get with the script, Raptors fans who want to know what's in and what's happening with the team. Come listen to me. I'll tell you. I'll predict it for you. February is going to be tough. We're going to lose a lot. Again, just like at the beginning of the season. But March and April will be just like January, and we're going to win a lot on the way out. So be ready for that. You going to say we're never going to win again? What are you fucking talking about? Not going to win again. Nameless. You really got to wonder, because when you say things, I read them exactly as they are. I'm autistic. And when you say, well, we may never win again, bullshit. We're a franchise in the NBA. We're going to win again at some point. We're going to win again. It may be tomorrow against the Clippers. So come on, man. Let's get a positive mindset. Come on now. Nako's saying, I get a heart attack whenever Scotty falls these days. I don't. In some ways, I saw that. And I'm not like, you know what? I'm paying attention really, really closely to like really think, all right, how much is he faking it? Seriously. Because there's a lot of this in the league. You got to understand that move where RJ got pushed by Lonzo. It looked really bad from the angle of the regular shot of the sideways angle of the court. But when they showed it from the other angle, RJ barely got touched and ripped his arm, but he made it look like he got his arm ripped off by Lonzo Ball. You saw what I'm talking about. But when they showed the other angle, it didn't look as bad. You guys got to understand, these guys are like wrestlers. They're selling. Just like a professional wrestler would. Ric Flair does a chop. Woo! That guy's going, ooh. And he may not be getting hit that hard. He's acting. He's making it look worse. And RJ did the same damn thing on that play with Lonzo Ball to really get the refs to blow the whistle. So in some ways, that's part of it. Now, Scott probably did really twist his ankle and it hurt. And he did have real pain in it. But he's a tough kid. He's playing a lot more hurt than you guys understand. That's the thing. In the beginning of the season, they used up all his minutes, his games off. And he really can't miss any more games if he wants to hit certain financial goals. So his drive is to stay on the court. Trust me. And he loves competing and playing like they are lately. So he's thirsty to get back there all the time anyway, because he loves playing in NBA games. So yeah, Name was saying, in theory, we all want to lose, but we can all admit it doesn't feel good. What? Once again, you're coming in the wrong direction this morning towards me, Nameless. I'm going to tell you that right now. Sometimes what's best for you doesn't feel or taste good, like Buckley's. Okay, at least you're funny. But I'm going to say this. No, you're having a Stank Nation kind of mindset right now. We don't do Stank Nation here. You want to talk about tank mentality, go somewhere else. We ain't doing this here. I'm against this. You're saying in theory we all want to lose. I don't want to lose. I never want to lose this whole entire fucking year, Nameless. I'm a Raptors fan. I want the Raptors to win every single game. I don't give a shit if people are saying, oh, we should be tanking to get Cooper Flag. I've never once wanted to tank this year. Not a single damn time. And when we were losing, I was telling people we're not tanking. We're just losing because we're not good enough to win. So seriously, prioritize the way you're thinking about this in a better way. In some ways, that's a loser mentality you're expressing this morning. I don't want to pick on you, but if you're going to come with comments like this, and I'm a little ornery, honestly, I didn't sleep well last night. I may be a little bit of a crank, just so you know. But yeah, in theory, we all want to lose. Don't speak for me. No, don't speak for me. You can't say that from me, and you can't say that from Monique either. So don't speak for me, Nameless. In theory, we all want to lose. Bullshit, motherfucker. That is not what I want to do. Don't and admit it doesn't feel good. Whatever, man. No, none of this. I'm not even going this direction. The Buckley's part is funny, though. All right. He's saying, has a Toronto basketball team ever had the leading 3-point scorer in the entire league? Yeah. We've had some of the best 3-point shooters in the league at times. We had just Jason Capono. Jason Capono won the 3-point shootout, and he was statistically one of the best 3-point shooters when he wore a Raptors jersey like 15 years ago. So yeah, we've had the best 3-point shooter in the league on our team before. I can name him, Jason Capono. You could say it's him because he had the percentage highest. He wasn't volume the best 3-point shooter, but he had the best 3-point shooting percentage. And he also won the 3-point shootout at the All-Star weekend. So that's the best shooter, right? Jason Capono. But we've had other guys that have been really good at different times. Now, Jamison Battle doesn't really count because his G League is that stat. That's a G League. But Grady Dick could become the best 3-point shooter in the league one year, and we may revisit this again. That's right. Smooth saying all signs are pointing to Chris Boucher trade, people. I don't agree with you guys. I hope it doesn't happen. If it does, well, Raptors get him back next year. I'm totally disagreeing with you guys. You guys aren't reading the tea leaves right, and you're not listening to what they're saying. If they do trade him and I'm wrong, okay, so be it. I'll be wrong on this, but I'm going to stake my claim on this, and I'm going to predict he's not going anywhere, and you guys are worrying about something that's not going to happen. As again, I'm going to present the evidence. Chris has expressed he wants to sign an extension with the Raptors, so it's not on his side trying to leave. So that's part of the relationship, right? Chris Boucher, does he want to be a Raptor or not? He's expressed publicly he wants to continue to be a Raptor. So he's not going to be the one demanding a trade like De'Aaron Fox or Jimmy Butler. So that's one side of it, is not for the trade, is the person who's the person. Now, let's analyze things. They could have traded Chris Boucher a couple times in the last few years, but they never did. Last year was more like he stuck out like a sore thumb on our team, didn't fit in our roster, and got DMPs. And everybody, if he was going to get traded, he would have got traded last year, y'all. This year, he's having a career year. He's worth his contract in a major way. We're getting such value out of him. Why would Bobby Masai be like, we're getting the best out of Chris we've ever gotten. Let's trade him now. Think about this with your head, y'all. Once again, he's best friends with the team franchise leader who absolutely has a say in who gets to stay and go. And you'd be shocked in how much Chris, you're going to think, you read into a DMP for Chris way too deeply, y'all. It's not like Chris hasn't been getting these DMPs the whole damn time he's been a Raptor. He was getting DMPs almost the whole entire championship year because he was a bit player at the end of the bench and one of the last guys to get the ring. He barely played his first year in Toronto. As over time, every single year he's been on the team, there's been games where Chris Boucher did not play, whether he's in the doghouse because of Nick Nurse or he just didn't get in the rotation that night. This has always been the case with him. So why can't we understand this and not overreact to one DMP last night, which actually I could have predicted yesterday morning. I didn't say anything about it, but I could have said, guys, we may need to be ready for seeing Chris not play tonight because so many people are coming back from injury. I should have said that yesterday. Maybe I would have warned y'all ahead of time instead of overreacting and thinking, oh, he didn't play last night, he's going to get traded. Because seriously, can you hear my facts and what I'm trying to say? Scotty has tapped him as one of his guys. And in some ways, Scotty wants him here. He's going to be here. Trust me. And Masai and Bobby are happy to do that because they're getting such good value out of Chris for his price right now. So in some ways, we don't need to trade him. Now, if he's involved in a trade, it's probably because he needs to be in there to make it fit. It's not because we're trying to trade him. It's not because he wants to get traded. It's only because it's what makes sense for the books, and it has something more to do with Bruce Brown than Chris Boucher himself. That's what I'll say to that, guys. I hope that explanation that I just did elaborates and kind of clears the air for general Raptors fan everywhere to kind of understand this Chris Boucher stuff a little bit better and how to read the tea leaves. Because seriously, him not playing last night made me read it more that he's staying, y'all. It's weird that y'all have this reaction, is what I'm saying. Nako's saying, I hate getting excited for these call-ups, but I like Orlando. Why do you get you hate getting excited for them? Is it because you get your hopes up and you're like, oh, they're so awesome, and then they're not on the team all of a sudden, and you're like, oh, man, he was good. I wish he was still here, Jamias Ramsey. No, I get it. I get what you're saying with that. But, I mean, this is how a business in the NBA is run. You got to cycle through players, see who's going to fit, see who's working out. And, well, I think Orlando's working out. So, Gerald, don't be too hating on this because he may actually work out and stick. Seriously. If I have a reputation of predicting things on this channel, I have a feeling that Orlando Robinson's going to be a Raptor next season, guys. Just so y'all know. Seriously. I predict a lot of stuff, man. I predict a lot of stuff. And often I'm right. I'm right. And I'm going to say, I feel like Orlando Robinson might be in a Raptors jersey next year, y'all. Just so y'all know. Smooth saying, there's a report that the Spurs are very close to getting De'Aaron Fox, a multiple team trade. Lakers and Brooklyn involved. Reports are coming from Spurs media guy. There you go. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let it all happen. The chips fall as they may. These teams are not involving us. Hey, I'm fine with that. Once again, I'm anti-trade. I've always been anti-trade. And in some ways, I'm trade when they do a trade. That's when I'm trade, is when Masai and Bobby do a trade. Okay, I'm for trade now because they did it. But every time before, anti-trade, unless it's a trade that you guys bring to me and I'm like, this is a badass trade. I fully endorse this. I'm for this trade. But more often than not, half the garbage that is rumored and talked about around there, I'm anti. Because half that shit doesn't help us. And I'll be like, yeah, why would we do that? You know? So I can be for trade, but it's got to be a good trade that makes sense to me that's going to help the Raptors. Yeah, Mo is a boss. I don't know if y'all saw in the community tab, we have a new picture up there that Monique asked me to post from the coach's open house. It's a picture of her and Neil Blackhawk from the coach's open house that they took. So if you guys want to see Superfan Mo and Blackhawk from that Sunday, there's a picture in the community tab on this channel of them. You can also see them in the picture from the Westchester Knicks game that we went to with MK and Adriana. So yeah, there's all kinds of good stuff. Mo is awesome. We love you, Mo. Safe travels. We know she's on her way down to Scotiabank Arena right now to go to the fan day right this second. Trevor saying Raptors We the North series is coming this month. Yeah, I saw something. I don't know a whole lot about it. I saw an advertisement for a movie that's called We the North. And basically the premise of it is it's taking the work that Alex Wong did with Prehistoric, the book, and they're making it into the historic, which is meaning they're going to cover the Raptors history past the book, which just deals with the expansion years of the Toronto Raptors. And he kind of goes all the way to the championship, but they're going to put it into like film and they're going to cover the championship stuff for the Raptors in this film. So check out We the North series. Another documentary series on the Raptors history coming out in this 30th anniversary. And well, right now, Open Gym's number one. Let's see where this ranks in the thing with Raptors Delight in last place. Sportsnet is bottom, but Bell is on top right now for their Raptors documentary historic contributions. Well, let's see where Alex Wong is with We the North series coming out. We'll have to see what it's all about. It's based on the stuff that Alex was doing with his research, just so y'all know. Yeah, G saying, I need Davion to start with IQ, in my opinion. Whoa, there's an idea. Bulls broke down our defense off the dribble. It was easy for them to get open threes. Yeah, they were very tricky with it. In some ways, like I said, Billy Donovan does a good scout. And he had a really good kind of pattern to help them cultivate open, really good threes. And they really catered and helped, in particular, a guy like Kobe White, who absolutely is a skilled player with a certain talent. And that is getting to open spots quickly and shooting them fast and making shots real fast. And Kobe White was utilized last night. Let's just put it that way. That's an interesting look, G. So you want to go old school Raptors, like a Kyle and Fred backcourt, and start Davion with Emmanuel quickly. I'm not totally against that because small guard lineups like that with our team have worked in the past. It's just that, I don't know. In some ways, I know why you're saying this. It would mean Grady probably comes off the bench. And then you have Barnes and Barrett and Pirtle as the front court. I don't know. I mean, I would at least try it, Darko, to see if there is an effect of this that makes sense for this. Who knows? We'll have to see. Very interesting idea, G. And you know what? For thinking outside the box, you're going to get a dunk right now. The fact that you just brought up that we should start IQ and Davion, that's very novel thinking. In some ways, I don't know why I didn't think about that a little bit. 18 points for G on the dunk chart. He's doing really well. When it's not all about jokes and it's sometimes about logic and thinking, G's on the chart and getting some dunks. There you go. Nako saying Spurs might be a second round team if they get Fox. Yeah, I don't know. I never gauge like big names coming to a team as an uptick because there's two ways it can go. There's two ways it can go. It's just like judging Paul George is going to make the Sixers a championship team this year. There's two ways it can go. So I wouldn't say this exactly as far as this Nako because I don't know the fit with De'Aaron Fox ahead of time. And it could be that he could be worse for them than actually helping them. So I won't say this with you. I won't. Stargate saying, you're right, Lex. IQ should have come off the bench last night, even if it was only for last night, just as a tone setter and nothing more. Yeah, I just realized how important the beginning of the game is. Seriously, the beginning of the game sets so many tones, whether it's the defensive presence in the lane so that they don't have an open basket to just run to every single time down the court, and also setting a defensive presence and pressure on the outside on the three-point shooters and the ball handler for the other team. And in some ways, that's what Davion's been providing amazingly in this stretch recently where we've been winning. Emmanuel, if he could be more of a defender like Davion, we could be fine because he's such a very talented offensive player. But it's tough to get that balance. It's tough. In some ways, we want to have a good defensive starting lineup. And one of the reasons why we've had a good defensive lineup is because Jakob, Scotty, and Davion are plus defenders at their position. And 3 out of the 5 starters are plus defenders. That's good. When you put Emmanuel in there, you got 3 that are substandard defenders out there, which Grady, RJ, and Emmanuel, and only 2 plus defenders. So that's part of what you got to figure out, Darko, as far as the balance with the defense and the offense. I think last night they could have gotten away with not starting Emmanuel and starting Davion and having Emmanuel come off the bench just because it's the first game back. But in some ways also it's because of contracts and it's because of status. And in some ways, Emmanuel quickly wants his stat line for the end of the season to show 30 games played, 30 games started, something like that. So Smooth saying he's more Scottie Pippen to me. Scottie Pippen to me. Who you talking about? Who's more Scottie Pippen? I don't know which player you're talking about. Stargate saying Jamal's presence was missed last night. Yeah, he's very sick. He wasn't on the bench. And just like Grady, he had a similar sickness. So hopefully he'll get better and he'll be available for tomorrow. So yeah, Shed's not hurt. He's ill. He's ill. So hopefully, yeah, he was. It was weird how much we noticed that we missed him last night. Seriously. There was one point where they didn't have a point guard out there because Emmanuel didn't play a full slate. He was only out there 15 minutes. We played a lineup with Scotty playing point guard, and it was a disaster. Did y'all notice that? That little stint of time where Davion and Emmanuel were both on the bench, and Scotty was the point guard. It did not go well. In some ways, like the idea of Scotty being a full-time point guard, I'm glad that that's kind of dead because he is so much better in the roles he's doing right now, and he can't be the point guard also, guys. Everybody who's still hung up on Scotty should be the starting point guard. You're idiots. Just let that go. He can be a playmaker and do everything he does on the court without the designation of being the point guard. And when he was the point guard last night, it didn't go well. It was a part of the game where the Bulls got away from us and we were disorganized. In fact, we were so disorganized. Scotty was trying to inbound the ball and nobody came to help him inbound. He had to yell at Orlando to come back. That's what I'm saying. In some ways, you got to have your shit together. And a point guard is supposed to organize your shit. And Scotty, we want him to worry about being the franchise player and doing all the scoring and doing all around stuff to help us win overall. We don't want him to have to worry about quarterbacking the team also and thinking about all the point guard stuff too. So they're different roles. And in some ways, Scotty has playmaking in his wheelhouse for what he does in his role, but he's not the primary playmaker. That is either Emmanuel or Davion or Jamal, depending on whether they're there. So, yeah, he was missed. And that one section where we had no point guard out there was a disaster. Real disaster. Name was saying, I've never seen Yak so aggressive with the rim protection. Somebody had a chat with him. No, I think that's just how he is. He's feeling good. He's feeling really, really good physically. In some ways, he's happy. I can tell that Jakob is so happy right now because he's enjoying, finding success through hard work and failure. We failed a lot this year, and we've now had success. And it feels good. It feels like what you're doing and all the hard work and the stuff that happens that's negative is worth it because you see the payoff. And that's something that these Raptors need to feel, Tank Nation, that has been so mad about them winning. You guys got to understand, this is good vibe stuff when they win. Jakob is fantastic. It's so crazy how nimble he is on his feet right now. And that's part of what you're saying is he's so aggressive. He can get around so fast. And it's also shown on the offensive end with some of the moves he's making to get to the basket, laying it up and under Vucevic's arm and doing all that moves down there. Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. He's a good offensive player. In some ways, I didn't think Jakob would be this kind of offensive player in his whole entire career when he came in as a rookie for the Raptors. I thought he was very limited. He's shown stuff this year offensively. I was like, holy shit, I've never seen Jakob put the ball on the floor and dribble and then come around and do an up and under layup, stuff like that. So it's really kind of cool to see just how different he is this year because he's having a career year also. He's having a career year, and he is expanding his game to do so much fun stuff right now, just short of shooting threes. Just short of shooting threes. Yeah, I don't even know if they had to have a talk with him. I think that in some ways it's Darko's coaching style that just allows them to be free, and he's really understands what that means. Stargate saying, I have a feeling we just going to hold on to Bruce until the end of the season and use that money to go sign another vet. We will see, though. Well, it's nice that, no matter what happens, we're going to have a positive bonus side to it. Some people only look at the negative and they'll point out things and they'll try and say this is a fail or a loss for the front office. If it seems like to them that they perceive that Bruce Brown did not get moved successfully when it seemed like that was the goal this whole entire year. Everybody is a naysayer or a negative ninny or wants the destruction of the Toronto Raptors will spin this in the way that'll make our front office look bad. Do not believe the hype. No matter what they do, they can't lose. Either they're going to keep Bruce and the money's going to come off the salary cap this summer and we're going to get to use it, or we're going to trade him and get assets before that happens. And don't listen to the negative people who are going to try and spin this negatively no matter what happens. Like I said, perception is the reality for whoever the individual is. And if you want to be a negative person and look at the way we've handled Bruce Brown in a negative way, you can go ahead and do that. And you can think you're right. But I have a perception that says opposite. And you know what? The reality and truth of the real world is probably somewhere in between the two ideas. But if you're going to have such a negative, condescending attitude about it and say it's complete failure, well, I'm going to go in the reverse and be the counterbalance is what I'm going to say to people. So I'm going to say this right now. Whatever happens with Bruce, whether we retain him, like was just said in this comment, or we do trade him, it's a win for us either way. Now, some people are going to say it's a lose for us either way. And, well, that's a mindset difference. How about that? That's a mindset difference. Thank you, Stargate. Cool Cat saying, Lex, I wonder if the Noah system messed up his form. RJ was perfect in free throws in New York when he joined the Raptors. Slowly, it has eroded. I don't know. I always love when people want to blame the Noah system. Like, this is hilarious. I'm going to give you a dunk just for that, Cool Cat. Like, whenever somebody is like, all right, can we blame the Noah system somehow on the Raptors shooting? I'm all for it. That's your third dunk of the year. You got 9 points right now. I'm going to say this because, I'm not a big fan of the Noah system. And I think it's hilarious that you say this. This really doesn't have anything to do with RJ's shooting problems because, honestly, the Noah system could probably actually help him with this, because the problems with RJ and his free throws is his free throw shot is going all over the place. There's no set plays. If you look at Scott and the way he lines up his free throws, his shoulders are squared, his legs are exactly straight, and the motion of his shot is always the same. And the result of the shot is always the same also. Scotty has a certain delivery and a free throw repertoire that he's doing that's very duplicated every time. And you see a very nice swish right through the middle of the hoop. Every time RJ shoots the shot, it's a journey. It's a journey over here. It's a journey up here onto the backboard. It's a journey ahead of the rim and not even making it because it's short. That's the problem. If he could be more measured and standard with what he's doing at the free throw line every time, he'd have way more success. But he's all over the place. Some of the problems with RJ's free throw shooting is similar to some of Jakob's problems at the free throw line in his years in the NBA. Now, Jakob's cleaned it all up a lot. One of them is the turn on the hand. They both do that. There's a thing that's weird. Like when you shoot, some people will turn their hand like this on their shooting hand. Don't do any action like that. When you go forward with your shot, whether you're shooting a jump shot or a free throw, you want to come up. The guide hand is there to steady the ball with balance. It's not supposed to spin off this hand in any kind of way because that's what makes it go to the left or the right. You want it to come off the hand just to hold it up. And really, right at the last second, when you're about to shoot, this hand should fall away and not touch the ball. It should shoot off the one hand. And the finger, the index finger is supposed to point to where you shoot. It's very simple. You follow through and you point at the rim. Well, some of these guys are just like this. And Jakob, one of the things he used to always do with his free throws that mess him up, he's turning with his offhand and putting a spin on the ball. And that's why it'll go off to the side. It's really just mechanics. RJ has to concentrate better and get a routine, and he'll do way better with the free throws. Noah's system could help fix it, honestly. So that's what I was saying. Trevor's saying smooth WWE Royal Rumble tonight. Okay. Pay-per-view day. All right. All right, WWE Royal Rumble. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Ho! I just say him because he won one of the Royal Rumbles very early. I think he was one of the first Royal Rumble winners. Hacksaw Jim Duggan win the Royal Rumble in like 1989, something like that. Nameless saying, just got our Raptors fan day tickets. You just got yours? Wait a second. Come on now. Something's going on here. All right, I'm going to go back to the link that Monique shared, and I'm going to see if I can find and see what it says. You just got tickets. How did you get tickets? Are you messing with me, Nameless? Because I went there 2 days ago, and it said it was sold out, and they did not have any tickets available. And I'm going to be kind of mad if there's fan day tickets available now because I'll jump in the truck. I know it's starting in an hour from now, but I can get down there pretty quick. I'll have to finish up the stream very shortly. But yeah, that's crazy. All right, where's that thing that Monique posted? She posted a link to it to get them, and it was saying sold out, sold out. All right, let me see. It's way in there. It's kind of way back. I need to make sure I find it. If I'm going to do this, you better see it through, Lex. Where is that link? She posted it like 2 days ago. That's why I'm like having to scroll way back. And we post so much stuff in this stream. There's something on Jose I didn't see. What was that? That's weird. Maybe I went past it. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Here's the link. And let me see. I go in there and it's saying, all right, buy tickets to the fan day. Experience this. Buy tickets now. I go in there and Nameless. Loading. Tickets are sold out is what it says. Nameless, how do you get tickets? It's sold out. It's been sold out for like 2 days. Maybe you got your tickets way before. I don't know. You just got them. You're lying. You can't get tickets right now. Daniel saying morning. Good morning to you, Daniel Berry, Sports Highlights. Roger Raymond saying good day, Raptor Freaks crew. Great job, Lex. Thank you, Roger. I appreciate your patronage and watching the Raptor Freak channel. I know you enjoy it. And I appreciate when you're here in the chat and with us and interacting with us too. Thank you for watching. And yeah, it's my passion. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. Smooth saying it, Trevor. Yep, the Rumble. Getting used to the Netflix broadcast, though. It's different feel. Still adjusting to it. I bet that is weird. A month of WWE on Netflix. Is it all right? You guys like it? Is the change good? You know, it's interesting. WWE without Vince and with Triple H and the directions they're going in. A lot of people are coming back. They're doing a good job of making themselves better than AEW and getting some of the old heads back to watch because of nostalgia, like Saturday night's main event, and bringing back old wrestlers and, you know, kind of giving homages to the history of wrestling in the right ways with people like Cody and Roman Reigns. So yeah, they're doing a good job. I have to say, the WWE is doing a way better job than AEW, and they are kind of making wrestling good again. And Netflix is a big part of it right now, from what I'm hearing. I'm not watching still myself though. Let's see. G saying I have people saying Davion has nothing to do with their improved defense when he started. Shaking my head. Yeah, casuals. These are offensive fans that don't value defense or know how to watch it, I guess. I don't know. Gee, that's crazy. Nako saying, I have a question about the size when it comes to starting Davion in IQ. Davion's been our starting guard when we were the second best defense in the league. Davion is very important to the team. Yeah, that's what you're saying to G. No, we won't disagree with what he's saying. We understand this. We're knowledgeable. G's just telling us the ignorance that's out there is what's going on right now. There's some people saying out there that Davion had nothing to do with our defensive intensity or success. Yeah. Okay. All right, buddy. You go ahead and keep living in your world. That's what I'm saying. Some people can believe things even if they're not true. And that's MAGA right now. I'm telling you right now. Seriously. What is your question about that backcourt? Is it that how do they deal with it? Well, we got to go back and watch a lot of Fred and Kyle, because Fred and Kyle teach exactly how you deal with a small backcourt in the NBA. You got to be very good at everything in certain ways to be able to do it and get away with it. You got to be very, very good in certain ways. And well, Davion and IQ may be good enough to do it. We'll have to see if they do decide to try it. I don't know if they will, though. G saying, Nako, I was arguing with someone who says there's no place for Davion in the league and his defense didn't impact winning and has nothing to do with their rating going up. Yeah, once again, you were talking to somebody that's probably a newer fan that doesn't understand defensive stoppers and defensive players and role players in the history of the NBA. That some people just don't understand role players in the NBA. They just think everybody needs to be a scorer and just be fantastic and shoot threes. And anybody else on the team that doesn't do that is a scrub, is not a valuable player. They'll look at the whole entire team and they'll diss players that are absolutely successful NBA players who have a niche role just because they don't score a lot. It's so stupid. It shows immature, newer fan idea, because old fans understand this. Older people understand this because the NBA has always been this way. It never was this multi-talented league where everybody had to be every talent. There were role players that had certain roles and certain jobs they did. That's why I'm asking Orlando Robinson to just concentrate on defense and rebounding, because those are the roles I want him to do. I don't know. Casual fans are stupid. In some ways, like I said this before, Jeff Grayer, who played for the Milwaukee Bucks, never used to get dissed by fans. He was just a journeyman that played in the team. And he was a good player because he made the NBA. But today's fans would call him he's a scrub and a failure, even though this man went way further in basketball than anybody else. Anybody who's on the level of like a Jeff Grayer in the league right now is looked down upon these types of fans. And they're idiots. They're absolute idiots. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I will say this, G. When people tell you opinions about Jakob Poeltl or Davion Mitchell, and you're like, okay, maybe don't listen to them or take anything that they say for any value as far as respecting their basketball knowledge acumen, is what I'm going to say. They're going to tell on themselves just how stupid they are about how they know about basketball. Seriously. Smooth saying, actually, it's a four-way trade that's very close. Atlanta, Brooklyn, the Lakers, and San Antonio. Don't know the others involved. Okay, well, when it happens, we'll see the fallout, and I'm sure I'll react to it. Stargate saying, we always talk about fit and chemistry. Yes, IQ is hang on. It jumped. Let me make sure I don't miss the rest of this. Where did it go? Holy crap. Where is it? Okay, here it is. Stargate saying, we always talk about fit and chemistry. Yes, IQ is way more talented than Davion. That is obvious, but it seems Davion fits a bit more and has a bit more chemistry with that starting lineup. You know what? I'm not going to argue with Stargate. This does seem like this is true. Now, Emmanuel, to his benefit, he has not played enough to really build the chemistry as well. But it seems like naturally Davion has a better chemistry right now in some ways. This is why earlier this week I was open to the idea of moving Manuel's contract, and I have not been open to that in a while, is because in some ways I'm wondering about the fit. We know he's best friends with RJ. We know him and Scott get along. We know there's a lot of different things and stuff like that. But in some ways, what Stargate is saying here is actually kind of true on the down low, that Davion's a better fit for our team than Emmanuel in certain ways. But in some ways, I don't see why we can't have both of them still. And we do really need to fully investigate Emmanuel quickly on the Raptors and the potential of that. We can't like get halfway into it and be like, oh, he's hurt too much, and then turn around and trade him. And then there may be regrets in the future saying, well, we had Emmanuel at that time, and look what he's doing on another team. And man, what if we just kept Emmanuel? We would have won championships. We have to be careful with this. We have to be careful with this. There's ability for Emmanuel to grow into a better fit with everybody where it makes more sense. And honestly, he's not sticking out like a sore thumb or a problem. It's just that I get what you're saying, Stargate. The fit in certain ways is feeling more right with Davion. I get what you're saying. I totally get what you're saying. But naturally, Davion is a backup point guard, and Emmanuel is a starting point guard. It could very well be the switch in the starting lineup to make this work is not Davion for Emmanuel. It's Oshai for Grady. That gives you 3 premium defenders in the starting lineup, and RJ and Emmanuel are the 2 guys that are kind of Then you got Yak, Scotty, and Oshai starting, and that means Grady has to be a 3-point specialist off the bench. That may be more realistic for switching because of the money contract situations. And Oshai is much more palatable in the starting lineup as a defensive upgrade over Grady in some ways than Davion over Emmanuel because he's adding 3-pointers also. So I think that's what it is right there. I think that may be the thing that we need to do. If we want a more defensive-minded team, you switch Dick for Abaji. That's what you do. Yeah. Let's see. Wayne saying, morning, Raptor Freaks. Last night seemed to be a development game. Yeah. We're going to have ups and downs. It'll be a successful game. All these games are really development games in the long run. All right. I'm sorry about that phone ringing. Have us losing 3 games in our 9-game stretch. Only way to defend is to sit Chris and Kelly. No angst on my part until we lose. Sorry, let me finish this. She has the noisiest phone. Normally we take it off the hook when I'm on the stream, but she forgot. In some ways, it's like it does all this talking. I don't know why it does it. It's like call from. All right, let me read your comment again and give it a proper attention without distraction. I have us losing 3 games in our 9-game stretch. Only way to develop is to sit Chris and Kelly. No angst on my part until we lose 4. Okay, I'm trying to think. All right, so in the next 9 games, you think we're only going to lose 3 of them? Wow, I would love that. I don't know if that's going to be what happens, though. We could very well go on a 5-game losing streak next. Seriously. We have to be ready for anything at this point. Yesterday I didn't get all mad that we lost because I understand this is a rebuilding year. And in some ways, as much as I wanted to get back at the Bulls, I also understood, like, if we had lost the Wizards, I would have been pissed. But I also understood that in some ways it's an up and down year with a rebuild, that there's very likely we could lose to the Bulls on Friday night. So I didn't get all out of shape. I was back to like, whatever happens. I'm going to accept the outcome of the game. But if we had lost the Wizards, I would have been pissed because that's a game they shouldn't have lost for sure. This one last night is going to be, I don't know. Let's see. Cool Cat saying our guys had a tough shooting night. Only IQ shooting was good, but restricted minutes hurt us. Yeah, and he needed that because he was hurting. After the game, in the interview, he expressed that he was in pain right then. So in some ways, he came back a little sooner than he might have wanted to. But I think it was the calculated right choice because the Bulls are an easier opponent to come back against than the Clippers, the Knicks, or the Grizzlies. So Smooth saying, are the tariffs in effect this morning? I have no fucking idea. I don't care. In some ways, I'm not going to try and be involved in this tariff shit. The way you do that is you buy local. You buy from people that maybe grow in your neighborhood. Like I live out in a farming community. I'm going to be going to my neighbors to get all my food. Cut out as much transportation as possible and buy it from local people that they get the money and profits and not Galen Weston. In some ways, it's also important to buy Canadian. If you cannot avoid buying from Galen Weston, well, buy Canadian-made products. There's all kinds of ways we can fight this. We have more power on this than you think. In some ways, this may be good for Canada, the tariffs, because it'll get people more patriotic and supporting their own businesses here. And I'm all about that. Honestly, USA's like this already. They're like, buy American, buy American. Don't buy from China. Don't buy from this. Well, in some ways, we should have national pride for our country and what we make and be the consumers of our own stuff that we produce. And I say, you can do this. Go to the grocery store and look at the labels on the products. And if it says made in Canada, usually they're putting big, huge maple leaves on it from things that originate in Canada. Now, there's other stuff that may be American companies, but it's manufactured in Canada. These are different levels of how you want to buy Canadian. But I highly encourage this. Not only because the prices may be tough to deal with right now. If you're going to pay over paid prices, don't pay them to the American companies, pay them to the Canadian companies. And because those Canadian companies won't be marked up because of the tariffs, they may actually be more competitive with the U.S. products at this point, because the products for the U.S. may be up the roof all of a sudden, and Canadian made, bought by Canadians in Canada, not going anywhere, will be cheaper. So, there's some side benefits to this that actually may be positive. So let's not let boogeyman orange fuckface dump Trump, fucking scare us with little tariff threats. In some ways, he might be actually helping our country on the download, just so y'all know. Not gonna say, gee, that's dumb. Davion fits on other teams. If I was Orlando, Philly, maybe even the Wolves, I'd probably call on Davion. No, he's a good player. In some ways, the Sacramento Kings, we're not getting anything out of him correctly, and now we are. And in some ways, he could very well be like, we build some value into him. And if we don't decide we want to continue with him, but we sign a contract with him, he may be a good trade piece. I'm not gonna lie, seriously, because there is some attractiveness to what he does in this league. That kind of power. This is where this person does not understand role players. That is where they don't understand niche work in the NBA, where this guy's niche is, I'm a point of attack on ball defender that makes it absolutely hard for the point guard on the other team to get organized and do what they want to do, because I am up their ass. So, I mean, if people can't understand what Davion Mitchell's role and how he's so good, they don't know basketball, is what I'm going to say right now. They don't know basketball. Sue's here. Play it again, Sue, y'all. A music reaction channel on YouTube. Sue is one of the original Raptor freaks. She's like one of my top 5 original fans that subbed to this channel. Literally, she might have been the 5th person that subbed up to this channel. I love you, Sue. I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Let's see what Sue's saying. Good morning, Raptor Freak family. It was nice to see Quick back. It will be fun to watch our young core develop together. Yeah, it has been fun, even through the ups and downs. It's been fun, and especially getting the taste of success recently makes it really understand that this is worthwhile. Y'all, seriously, subscribe to Play It Again, Sue, and get all kinds of cool music reactions daily from Sue and her friends. Just a fun channel of good vibes, and I highly, highly recommend it. Seriously, y'all. Y'all love music? Well, Sue loves music, so y'all share your love of music with Sue. That's what I'm saying. Play It Again, Sue. There you go. Kareem's saying, I'm all for winning, but games like yesterday, no Levine at home to the Bulls. On top of that, no Boucher or Kelly minutes. I can't believe Darko. I believe Darko is following orders. He can't be that stupid. Not trying to be harsh. No, he's not stupid. He had his mic on. Didn't you hear him, what he was saying to people? I really like when he took Emmanuel out of the game and he stood over there with him for like 5 minutes, ignoring the game, talking to him about good stuff he did on the court in his first couple stints on the court for the Raptors last night, encouraging him and building him up. In some ways, he may have been communicating with him at that moment to say, I'm only going to pay you 15 minutes tonight. So I know you really want to play more, but we have to do this way right now. But I have full confidence in you. We're going to play you more as you gear up and get more in shape and conditioning. So he's a very effective communicator. And I wish they would have shown more of the microphone clips of him talking on the court to people, because those clips are what shows everybody that he is a top-notch coach and that he is doing a fantastic freaking job. So, yeah. All right. I'll break down Kareem's statement. It's a little Debbie Downer. And so we're going to bring him up real quick. All right. Levine, who cares? Who cares? In some ways, Zach Levine playing may have hurt them more than helping them. So don't give me this, no Levine, and they beat us. No, in some ways, Zach Levine has been shown to be a detriment to the Bulls. And in some ways, they play better when he's not there. I'll just say that, I'll believe that, because in some ways he gives more shots to people like Kobe White when he's not there, Matthias Bezelis, and Jalen Smith. They go shoot more when Zach Levine's not around, taking 30 shots himself. So I would say this, they may be easier to beat when Zach's in the lineup. So don't give me that crap. Yeah, I was mad that they didn't defend the home for sure. But I'm going to say this. Y'all let me down, crowd, last night. You let me down. I asked you specifically before the game to chant defense the whole entire game. Y'all didn't show up until halfway through the third quarter, and it was too late by then. In some ways, they could have jumped on them and got better defensive intensity and outcomes if the fans had been engaged from the start of the game. So fans, you look good coming in. I was like, that's a lively crew. That's a Friday night crowd at the game last night. You look good coming in, but you did not perform. You did not perform. In some ways, y'all got to understand how much energy y'all can give the Raptors to help them win, but some of y'all are not getting this. And y'all need to be louder for the whole entire game and not just show up in the fourth quarter or the third quarter when you think the game's at hand. Then, no, you should have helped build them up the whole entire freaking game, and they wouldn't even been in the hole. So fans, I'm going to blame them. I'm not going to blame the team for last night. The fans didn't come correct last night and cheer until the second half. I didn't hear y'all on the TV until the second half of the defense chants. So that's on you, crowd of the Scotiabank Arena. Y'all need to do better and come out there and chant defense every time the Bulls have the ball from the jump ball. And y'all failed at that. So I'm going to blame the crowd for that one last night. The crowd was Friday night crowd supposed to be live and crazy. Well, they were not there for them the first half. And that's the damn truth right there. The Boucher and Kelly stuff I've already covered. And you can understand why they didn't play. They're older Canadian veterans that don't necessarily need to play. On the sliding scale of Garrett Temple, they're towards that. They're older. And do we need to play Garrett Temple every night? No, we understand what Garrett Temple is. And we play him when we want to play him for what we need to play him for, whether it's garbage time or being out there babysitting young players and playing around with them out there. You know, Chris and Kelly are on that sliding scale towards Garrett, y'all. So they may get DMPs just like Garrett Temple does because they're true professionals. And that's all I'm saying. Now, I agree. They shouldn't have played Bruce as much, but we know why we're playing Bruce. If we had taken Bruce's 17 minutes and gave him to Chris last night, I've been perfectly happy. And that would have been more of a winning decision, honestly, too. But yeah, don't come at Darko right now. No, they mic'd him up. He's a fantastic coach. He's doing a great job. And in some ways, you can't say he's being that stupid. It's not about stupidity. It's not about stupidity. He has a lot of balls that he's juggling. And in some ways, he has to make a lot of people happy. Masai said in the steam room interview, he has a lot of bosses. He has bosses. He has the press. He has Teresa Resch. He has the players. He has the fans. He has his staff. As Masai looks at that, is all these people are his bosses. Well, Darko has a lot of bosses too. And he has to keep the bosses happy. And one of them's Masai. And Masai probably told him, you got to play Bruce Brown over Chris Boucher tonight. So let's keep this all in the whole picture. Seriously. Stargate Sananako, what is in it for the Raptors? It's all good that these teams want our players, but what's in it for us? And please don't tell me picks. That ain't no damn cotton plantation. That's what I'm saying. Other teams may have been able to get one over on Rob Babcock. Maybe they could have done one to Brian Colangelo, snuck one by him. Maybe Glenn Grunwald might have made a dud deal, but we got Bobby Webster. We've got Masai Ujiri, and they getting pulled shit over on them. In fact, people are scared to deal with them because they're more likely to pull something on them in some way. So, no, we've got to understand this is one of the strengths of our team is our front office and that they are not making dumbass moves. That's a problem in a lot of teams. The Knicks are a good team, but they've made so many dumbass moves in the last couple decades that they're a good example. And why you should be like, wow, I'm so happy we have our front office. Every Raptors fan should celebrate and protect our front office to the utmost degree. Raptors fans that talk trash about Masai and Bobby being washed are idiots. They're absolute idiots. They don't understand the cycles of franchises and that we were doomed to fall after the championship because the NBA wanted that to happen. And they steadied this ship, and they've got us in a really good place 5 years later that is absolutely fantastic. So, seriously, we got to have things a little bit more in perspective here. And these guys aren't stupid. They're not going to get cotton picked by another team. Let's just put it that way. Nako's saying it's important for Jacoby to get reps. Yes. And that was expressed by Darko last night, that it was important to Jacoby to get time out there in development. Not as important for Chris or Kelly. Not as important. Stargate saying it was a medvac aircraft that crashed. Oh, that's awful. That's awful because those are the people coming to save people. And we can't be losing more and more good people in the government and the society of the United States when there's more bad people coming into power. Seriously. Wayne's saying there's no reason to trade Chris. He's producing and not demanding no more than he's getting now. Very easy extension. I'm predicting this team plays themselves in the play-in group. Momentum. I love everything Wayne is saying here. I'm going to give him a dunk because he is exactly on the same page with me. That's exactly what I am thinking too. I think that he will extend with us, and I think everybody's going to be shocked when that happens. So let's see if the Raptor Freak and Wayne Strainer are going to be right at the end of this. Seriously. And I'm all about getting the play in too. I'm with him on that. Some people may be like, playing for what? Like Masai said, no, playing for experience is what I'm saying right there. Nako saying, I think Bruce is gone, if for nothing else than to help a major trade. I don't count on Kelly or Chris being traded, but I could see it. Bruce is the only one I want to trade. Yeah, this has kind of been what I'm saying. I don't think Kelly's going to get traded because, once again, he's been assured by Masai that he is going to retire Raptor. I once again have told this many times on the show, and nobody has seemed to heard this or understood this or caught this in the interviews, that this has had been said that Kelly Olynyk intends to retire as a Raptor. He's going to play the end of his career contract. And if he signs like one more deal, like a 1-year deal, like a veteran minimum, like Garrett Temple, he wants to stay in Toronto until the end. And I don't know if anybody knows that wish. A lot of people don't bring that up. The media doesn't bring that up. But Kelly very explicitly said this. And I don't get why people don't understand this. These Canadian guys are not American guys. They're not trying to find their way out of Canada. Chris Boucher and Kelly Olynyk are home, and they want to stay here. And everybody thinking they want to go, or they're crazy. They're very happy in Toronto. They're very, very happy. Trevor's saying 6 people were on that plane. They all lost their life. Okay, you guys are real rays of sunshine. I got the rays of sunshine coming over my shoulder right now, and y'all are real rays of sunshine right now. And somebody's listen. I don't want to do the Trump fucked up this in the United States report every day. And seriously, I mean, this may happen every day, y'all, for a while, just so y'all know, until sanity resumes and maybe they fucking go to the White House and kick this motherfucker out. Seriously, this kind of tragedy and shit, just get used to it. It's the new reality of the United States. They've already accepted school shootings and public shootings, mass shootings as part of their culture. Well, let's just add air traffic disasters to a common thing that happens in the United States now, since they're people that don't care and they're just going to let these billionaires run this society into the ground, and more innocent people that are just ordinary average people are going to die because these guys are irresponsible megalomaniacs that only give a shit about accumulating more billions. I'll drop a truth bomb on people, but in some ways, I don't want these depressing updates all the time. This is a Raptors channel. If it's a major, major story, and I know these would be major stories in the past, but I'm telling y'all, this is going to become everyday kind of shit, just like the school shootings now, because they got rid of the FAA director and they have no oversight for regulation because they don't want it. This is the crazy thing. You know why they don't have FAA watching over the planes right now? Because of a personal grudge that Elon Musk has against the FAA for not allowing him to do things with his SpaceX and trying to fly rockets in the sky. So this guy is such a little kid, such a mentality of a little piece of shit like teenager, that he's going to get back to the FAA by saying, yeah, you wouldn't let me take off my rockets, so I'm going to screw y'all over and you're fired because I'm in charge with Donald now. That's the whole reason why this happened, is because of Elon's fight with the FAA over SpaceX shit. So now we've got a couple planes in the ground and innocent people dead because Elon Musk wanted retribution and revenge against government officials who were trying to stop him from doing very dangerous, stupid things in the air. The FAA. That's the whole reason why this shit happened. So you want to blame somebody, don't blame DEI, don't blame Biden, blame Elon Musk directly and Donald Trump as the person who allowed him to do it. So there you go. There you go. That's so sad. So much tragedy happening in the U.S. right now. Yeah, because of a dumbass puppet for an oligarch is sitting in the front of the White House, and they bought this election. Don't get it twisted. He did not win. Kamala won the election on the down low, but Elon bought the media, and they snowstormed the media. They called the election real early, didn't they? Did you notice that? They didn't call the election after midnight. They called the election at like 10 p.m. Why did they do that? Because they strong-armed that shit. Just like when he beat Hillary, he didn't really beat her. Hillary was going to win, but Trump came out on stage preemptively before Hillary and said, I won, and confused the whole thing. And it would have caused complete chaos if they said, no, you didn't win, Donald. Actually, Hillary won. So they went with it. I don't know if y'all know this. He's never won one of these elections. They've absolutely power grabbed these elections each time. That Elon Musk paid off the Washington Post. Jeff Bezos owns it. And they absolutely did a power grab as the billionaire class of the United States to take complete control of the government through a fucking Manchurian candidate called Donald Trump. I don't believe they actually won this election. I think that Kamala had more votes and she was going to win, but the press is compromised at this point because it's bought and paid for by billionaires and that they strong armed this shit. I'm going to tell you though, that's actually probably the truth. But they did such a good job of covering it up. Everybody's taking it as the truth that Donald Trump actually won and that MAGA has a mandate and that they can do this shit. That's all by design. That's all by design. They didn't win shit. Hey, they don't have half the support that they've manufactured to make it seem like he does. He really doesn't. That's why I was so sure she was going to win. Well, they had to steal it. It's so sad. Y'all, I don't want to talk USA every day. Seriously, guys. We've got to ignore that shit show. Because if I talk about it every day, I'm going to put an extra hour on every stream, and I don't want to do this. I seriously don't. It's sad. It's tragic. I did my vote. I voted for Kamala. I tried, y'all. I did my part. In some ways, the U.S. is just going to have to sit in their shit now for a little while until they rise up and figure out, well, we're a democracy and we ain't a fucking dictatorship and we're going to get it back to where we're supposed to be. Until the people rise up and take to the streets and do some activism and take some violence and some crazy ass shit, nothing's going to change down there. And nothing's going to change. They've ensconced themselves and they have all the power in the world now, the billionaires. And everybody that voted for Trump handed them that. And the people that tried to fight against it, don't stop. Don't stop. Keep going. Don't get downtrodden, y'all. Seriously. Nako's saying Trae Young probably told Scotty exaggerate injuries. I don't think Trae Young told him. I think that Scotty, once again, he's just an expressive, sensitive young man. In some ways, he's an empathetic man. He feels empathy for people. He feels feelings very strongly. There's people in this world that are very sensitive. I'm one of them. I feel sensitivity. I feel sensitivity to the sadness and the shit show of the United States right now. That's why it's hard for me. That's why I'm hiding out in the woods and hibernating, because I don't even want to deal with the fucking energy that's in the world and the cosmos right now with the degradation of the democracy of the United States. So in some ways, Scotty's like me. He's a sensitive empath, and he feels pain a little stronger than other people. So he may actually feel that pain in that moment really strongly, but it subsides very quickly. So I don't know. I don't think he learned that from Trae Young. That's silly. I don't think Scotty interacts with Trae Young in any kind of way. Jacoby does. Jacoby's mentor is Trae Young. I don't know if y'all know this. In some ways, Trae Young is very proud of Jacoby Walter. He's the first player from his youth camp that's made the NBA. So Trae Young has a very, very vested interest in Jacoby Walter being successful in the NBA, guys, just so you know. And after we played Atlanta in both those games, they had very heartwarming moments together of a mentor with a pupil. So just so you know, there's that kind of bond between Jacoby and Trae Young, but not with Scott. No, not with Scott. Jimmy's saying, whatever the front office chooses, I'm vibing. And I love Chris and Kelly, but this is a business. That's the thing we got to understand. This is a business, but we do run things like a family up here in Toronto with Masai and the way he deals with the players. And that's part of why they want to stay. That's part of why they want to stay. Andrew's saying, wherever we pick in the draft, it'll be happy. I'll be happy. I know Masai will find value whenever we draft. And I know whoever we draft will develop nicely under Darko. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I have trust in Masai, and I'm learning to trust more and more Darko and Scotty. So there's trust that we have to have in those guys in their positions. Masai and Bobby are gold, man. They are a proven track record that honestly, I can't believe how many stupid people disrespect them with dumbass shit that they say about them. In fact, I left some very good Raptors Facebook groups because people were coming at Bobby Masai so regularly. I was like, y'all are idiots. You guys do not understand how good we have a front office right now. Darko, he hasn't got the win percentage, but the signs of him progressing and developing this team in the right direction are all there. So I'm trusting him on what he's doing. And Scotty, well, you got to trust that he's going to be a franchise face. He's going to be there for our team. He's going to be loyal for our city. And he's going to put everything he has in his body on the line, on the court, every single night he takes for an NBA game. And that's where you got to trust him on. That's right. I never want the Raptors to lose either. And fans that want them to lose, and Nameless said, I meant to say we all don't want them to lose. Okay, Nameless. Like I said, I'm going to read you word for word. There may be important words to put in there. Have a great day, y'all. I love you, Nameless, my paisano. Go to the fan day and let us know what it's all about. Go and see Monique, too. If you do run into her at the fan day, Nameless, get down there and say hi. Seriously, get a picture with her. I'd like to see a picture of Nameless. I know you're in the picture in your picture, but it's so small. I can't see you. But maybe we get a nice picture with you in super fan mode down at the fan day. That'd be cool, man. That'd be very cool. Smooth saying, don't forget, DeMar DeRozan was traded by this front office, man. If he could get traded, Boucher could as well. I know. I'm not going to say that, but that's what I'm saying. Once again, another thing I'll say is I don't even want to utter these kind of things. Some people are so casual with like talking about shit like we should trade Scotty for this person and RJ for this person. I'm like, I'm not that casual, y'all. I'm maybe more on the family tip than the business tip with the Raptors and the roster and how I feel about them. I'm definitely like that. So I don't even like to utter this shit. I get it. DeMar got sold out. He had got traded to San Antonio, and that shows the level of what Masai will do. But I don't think he likes doing that very often. And if he has to do it, he'll do it the right way, hopefully. But in some ways, let's not even talk this in existence, is my point of what I'm trying to say right now. Let's not even talk it into existence. Wayne saying, sometimes our freaks don't understand the business. Norm Powell got traded because of money. Same for OG and Pascal, money. Chris is reasonably priced and productive. No need to trade. DeRozan, not money. Yeah, DeRozan, it was a different thing. It was strategy for the team to be able to get to the next level in the playoffs. And it completely worked. And that's why you got to trust in Masai. That was such a huge gamble, trading away your coach of the year and your top franchise player, and a gamble like that for a guy who is totally salty coming from San Antonio and hurt too. Such a gamble, and boy, did it pay off. But this is not that level. Chris Boucher is not that level, as is being pointed out in this comment by Wayne. Is not that level of money or that's kind of stature on the franchise. And that's why the smaller bit players are easier to maintain and keep on the team. When guys grow out of role player salaries into max salaries like Pascal and Fred, well, that's a lot harder to keep them around then. So Chris is very manageable. And that's why Wayne's exactly right. You got to understand the business and what's possible with the different tiers of what level player they are. Nako saying it smooth. To be fair, that's a planets align every 100 years scenario, and it's not like Kawhi level players available either. Well, let's not get it twisted. That is Masai's finishing move. And in fact, we may see him duplicate this right before we win the next championship. There could very well be another one where he sells somebody out, and it may be very shocking, but it brings a level of talent coming back like Kawhi that absolutely puts us over the top and wins a championship for us. I would say that Brandon Ingram is that kind of player, but this isn't the time to do this. The timing is not right to do a Kawhi move with Masai right now. But there may be in like 2 or 3 years from now that is very like a Kawhi move is available because there's a disgruntled top tier star in this league for some reason, and Kawhi move duplication has happened. Don't get it twisted. He's made this very clear too since, and he's like scaring people too. Because when he did that Kawhi move, it was so masterful. And nobody talks about this as much as they should, about how that was one of the ballsiest, most best paid off trades in the history of the NBA ever. It was so ballsy. It had so much room for error, but it absolutely paid off perfectly. I'm saying this is that Masai's bragged in interviews at the beginning of the season that he will do this again and that he's looking for these opportunities all the time. And that's why when the rumor comes out that the Raptors have investigated about De'Aaron Fox and his availability, they've investigated about San Antonio with this, or they've investigated with Brandon Ingram for New Orleans and this, that's because they're doing that due diligence to figure out maybe this is the next big Kawhi home run move. So, yeah, they're going to investigate about Brandon Ingram, but they're going to look at the whole parameters. And is this conducive for Kawhi's success like we did with the Kawhi trade? No. Okay, we're not doing it. And it's not the right time right now anyway with the timeline of our rebuild. So, but that Kawhi move may come in like 2 or 3 years, Nako. Pay attention. It's not like every 100 years kind of thing because it may be a totally different situation. You know, Dame Lillard was that kind of possibility. The Kevin Durant thing that happened a couple summers ago, that kind of possibility of a Kawhi level move. But that what they were asking in Brooklyn for Durant was Scotty, and Masai said no. So, man, these situations come. They do a lot more often than you think. But do they realistically happen and then work out perfectly like Kawhi Leonard? Well, we'll have to see. Can lightning strike twice for Masai Ujiri when the time is right, is what I'm wondering. Jimmy's saying, if a move helps our team and moves our needle closer to winning a championship, I'm for it, but I will not shout for trades. Yeah. And once again, I'm going to leave the job to the people that are professionals that do it, that have a proven track record, that have been doing this job for us for 10 years now, over 10 years. And they've done such a good job. Seriously. In some ways, front offices get switched around so much because of failure. Well, our front office is getting into their 12th year soon. And that is a symbol of excellence and doing a very good job. Seriously. It's so crazy. The level that people want is a championship every year. You're not going to be happy and you're going to be upset with the front office no matter what. You're just unrealistic idiots, once again, that don't understand basketball. The people that are mad at the Raptors because they have not repeated as champions since the championship, you are absolute idiots and you do not understand the NBA, is what I'm saying to them. Seriously. Yeah. Smooth saying at Nako, very true. But my point is that Chris's value is at an all-time high, trade value-wise. Will never be higher than it is now. I don't know if that's true. What if he does continue to get even better and even more consistent? I don't know if that's totally true. I think you're probably right, though. That is an argument to make if we're going to trade him. But if he's a piece we really value and we like, and we can get at a deal, there's value in that also, not using him for trade value. Seriously, if the value is in keeping him and retaining him at a good price and getting all the value that he plays here, that's value just as much as trading him at the point of his value too, like what you're saying. So Randolph saying Saturday blessings, beloved Raptor Freaks, most informative gang. Seasons means change. Be willing to change too. That's right. I can't wait for the seasons to change. We get out of winter and get into spring. Ooh, Lex is going to be revitalized, just like nature. I'm all about the seasons change. Okay, in Vogue. Seasons change, people change. Isn't that the band that did that? No, not In Vogue. It was they were like a girl group and they sang like oh man, it wasn't In Vogue. In Vogue is the song the Never Gonna Give You Up or whatever. They're the R&B group. There was a different group that came out in the 80s that sang a song called Seasons Change. I don't know. Extra bonus points for anybody who can remember what that name of that girl group from the 80s was that sang Seasons Change. Man, it's not In Vogue. It's like a Visage or something like that. It's something weird like that. Y'all, if you know the name of that girl group that I'm talking about, Expose. I got it. The hamster is still in there alive, running. Yeah, Expose. Y'all know they sang, "They're taking me to the point of no return." To the point of no return. Maybe Zoo, you could do Expose, point of no return. Yeah. I'm gonna put a request for Play It Again Sue this morning. Expose. You're taking me to the point of no return. It's like an 80s song. It's a good one. They did the Seasons Change song. That's right. That's what made me think of that. That's right. All right, let's keep going. Smooth saying, also, DeMar was very vocal about never wanting to be anywhere else other than Toronto. Pascal did too. I know, but once again, we got to think about two different things. It's not necessarily about whether these guys want to be here or not, but that has seemed like a kiss of death in some ways. No, it's about what makes sense for the team and the franchise's direction. And the DeMar DeRozan thing totally made sense when it happened, even if it broke my heart. I understood why they did it. I honestly did. After the years of bumping heads in the playoffs and seeing the limits of what Casey and DeRozan would do for us and their positions, getting where we're going, I knew what he did was absolutely necessary. Now, I think that both of them were necessary. Some people have thought about, well, did you really need to go get Kawhi? Could DeMar have done it? DeMar thinks he could have done it without being traded and done the same thing in Kawhi's spot. I don't know. The defensive side of Kawhi's game is different than yours, DeMar. And then the Dwayne Casey stuff he really was hitting a limit with what he was doing as a coach in the playoffs, as far as on the fly adjustments. So I don't know. In some ways, it's like, it's because that made sense, is what I'm saying. That's why we have to get back to, does this make sense to trade Chris? Well, high trade value, get more for him. That makes sense. But he's fitting in. Scott likes him, and he's useful at a discounted price. That makes sense too. So we can make it where it makes sense. And sometimes it's not about whether the player wants to stay or not. It's about what makes sense for the front office. Yeah, just examples of guys who never want to leave but were traded. That's a sad thing about the business. Charlie Villanueva is on that list. That's just how it is. In some ways, you would like to stay in the same team, and I know Scotty would like that, I'm sure. And hopefully he will. We'll have to see. Smooth saying, so if Boucher stays, I'm happy. It's 50-50 in my opinion. I don't know if it's actually 50-50 whether you'll stay or not. I think that it may be a little bit higher that he will stay. I think it's like 60-40 or maybe 70-30 is what it is, that he will stay, guys. Let's see. Andrew saying, I hope Grady can make a name for himself at the Rising Stars contest. He's going to show off he's more than a shooter. Yes. And he's been attacking the rim so well. He had another one last night. where he absolutely got a fantastic pass from Scott and threw it down, and fantastic. There was a lot of that stuff that was badass. We've seen so many lobs lately. Like I saw Jakob so fleet of foot getting up there and grabbing a lob from Scotty. And there was a game in the last game where Jakob caught it and shot in all in one motion while he's still in the air. Yeah, Jakob is really doing weird stuff and different stuff than he's never done in his career. But yeah, the lob stuff for the Raptors and all kinds of different combinations where guys are getting easy lobs. Like Scotty got a really easy lob from Jakob and vice versa. I love all that stuff that's going on right now. It's fantastic. So good. Yeah, we want Grady to get up on that rim is what we want, Andrew. We want to see him score a lot of points and make a big contribution and have his team win and him be responsible for it. That's the best thing you could do right there. Smith saying, I mean, that Kawhi trade was more about the Spurs spitting him out and than they thought, and it was punishment for him not to want to be here. Well, he needed to go, and Masai knew he could be an opportunist. And, Kawhi Leonard is a talent, man. That's what I'm saying. When he's going to look and see when there's big, huge talents under duress in their situation, and whether the Raptors, who don't normally get consideration in free agency, can get a player that's not normally available to them because of these kind of situations. And that's what Kawhi was at that time. Kawhi Leonard probably never thought about playing for Toronto ever until that happened. And, well, look, Kawhi, you fucked around and had your most successful year in your career ever. Your most successful year in a Raptors career ever for one player, and most successful year in your career. It is absolutely your best year of your career in Toronto. The 1 year you were here. Absolutely is. We know it is. And it wasn't no punishment, San Antonio. That's part of it too. People thought they were punishing him, sending him here. No, you're not punishing anybody trading him to Toronto. Trust me, you're not. Ask Charles Barkley. You're not. Wayne's saying DeMar trade was not about money or players' feelings. Trade was about getting a top-related player for average good player. Money wasn't a factor. Simple transaction. I don't know. We need to say average good player. I don't think that's fair to him. In some ways, we don't need to do that. I kind of delineated it and described the situation just now in a way that is more respectful towards DeMar DeRozan. It's just that we were hitting a ceiling with what we could do with Casey and DeRozan, and we went somewhere else when we switched to Leonard and Nurse. And that's just how it happened. That's just how it went. Yeah, Smooth saying that's my point. Players' feelings have nothing to do with it. They do and they don't. I mean, you could say that we did that with Siakam, but we also gave Siakam 6 more months of being a Raptor when we didn't have to, out of respect for what we were talking about right now. Seriously. So let's not get it twisted. The cold, hard trade of DeMar DeRozan is not normal. That is an aberration in the history of the Raptors, and with Masai in charge. I'll say that, because not with Colangelo, obviously with Charlie V. But I'm just saying, in some ways, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's a business, but players' feelings are more factored in Toronto maybe than other places. I'll say that. Andrew's saying, Yak has had such a great year, man. Love to see it. He really has. He really has. Wayne is saying, Bruce is overpriced. Yes. However, I like him on a team going places. If we're ambitious for next 2+ years, he's a plus, in my opinion. Very tough call. I don't know if I want him around that long. When you just say having him around for like 2 more years, I'm like, what? You're crazy. It's like, I don't know. I'm going to go a little quicker on the comments. And I don't know if I have a cutoff, but there needs to be a cutoff. If nobody else has done a cutoff, because Monique had to go to the thing. Cool Cat saying, Lex, Noah's system has a responsibility. Siakam's free throws, 3-point shooting, mid-range efficiency. Pacers don't use Noah's system. Another proof. Well, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you that the Noah system may need to be thrown into Lake Ontario. I've always been on that thing. I'm just saying that with RJ, with the specific problems with his free throw shooting, it could actually help him, because what the Noah system does, it registers where the ball's hitting the rim and how off he is, and it could actually really help him get his hands right without putting extra spin on his free throws. So it would be helpful in this situation with RJ with his free throws. It's just not helpful with everybody and everything. Wayne saying Oshai is who I think is trying but not good enough for me. What? He seems to be too comfortable not pushing himself, but I know he's not nonchalant. We need to tighten the screws on his ass. Okay, that doesn't sound right. That phrasing, first of all, and second of all, I'm not going to agree with you at all on this one, Wayne. I agree with you wholeheartedly on other statements, but this is way off base for me. Ochai Agbaji was hurt recently. Ochai Agbaji is still trying to get back into a rhythm of being back in the rotation and not in the starting lineup. Ochai had starting opportunities at the beginning of the year because of injury, and he really flourished. In some ways, right now, he's backtracked a little bit, partly because of coming off the bench and also because he was hurt and he's been out for a certain amount of games, and he's still trying to find his rhythm. So we'll say that about him right now, and that this is a little bit of a reaction and not allowing him the ability to get back in this place where he is with the roster and the rotation right now, where he is. You got to understand, he had a lot of opportunities given to him earlier because he was starting, and then we needed him to score. And right now, with guys fully healthy, he's relegated to being a secondary scorer and not as much pressure to maybe try and get 20 points, shooting like 7 of 8 from 3, like he did earlier this season. So that's a big part of it, Wayne. I agree with you almost everything, but this one I'm not going to be with you on that. Getting on his ass for it? No. I like the way he's playing. He's letting the game come to him. In some ways, what you're describing, he may force things and look worse. So let the game come to him naturally. That's the best thing he can do. Play very top-notch defense on his assignments, and when he gets those open threes, take them without conscience and nail them. But otherwise, I'm not expecting more from him in certain ways. He's a secondary player. In some ways, he's a more defensive player than an offensive player. And his offensive stuff is just extra on top. With Emmanuel back and our full roster healthy, the scoring can come from other places, and it doesn't necessarily have to come from Agbaji. But everything he chips in helps. That's for sure. Kaz is saying, hi, Lex, and chat, hi, Kaz. And Wayne's saying, that's an insane thought to even contemplate. And Davion is a better fit than IQ. Playing together means something that was IQ's 10th game of the season, overthinking. Yeah, I think that in some ways, I think that we're too impatient in some ways, everybody in different places. And I think maybe I'm being a little impatient with the IQ, but can you blame me? He's been on our team for a year, and how many games has he actually played for us in that past year? And I'm anxious to see him get out there and play more. But I don't want to overreact and say we need to trade him. We do need to discover the full potential of him being in the Raptors when the healthy time of really being healthy. He hasn't been healthy enough is what's happening. Trevor's saying, be careful what you guys are asking for. IQ's more offensive threat and opens more space. Davion's more defensive player. He helps slow down the best player. Yeah, I don't see why we can't have both of them, especially if Davion's in the Chris Boucher level of pay. Emmanuel's going to get max money, or he has. And, Davion, if he's at a good price, they're a really good foil for each other, yin and yang. And in some ways, it'd be great to have both of them going forward. We don't have to choose. This isn't Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter, guys. We can have both of them on our team. We can make it work. That's right. Let's see. Stargate saying, I wouldn't trade IQ, though. He just needs time to build chemistry as a starter no matter what. It was just an observation. And yes, the Ochai for Grady is a better switch in the starting lineup. I like that switch better. In some ways, you still have the very high level of Emmanuel. And in some ways, Davion coming off the bench still is an upgrade on defense, but maybe too many holes in the defense and the starting lineup if you're starting Emmanuel, Grady, and RJ together. So take Grady out and put Ochai in there. You have 3+ defenders in the starting lineup then, is what I would say. We'll have to see if they do this, is they may be listening to us. And then all of a sudden we see Ochai in the starting lineup all of a sudden. You're like, whoa, look at this starting lineup. This is the one that Lex was talking about on Saturday. It might be weird if they did that, though. Yeah, Blackhawk's saying Darko is pushing Grady's development. Grady will get better over time. Darko will switch to a defensive line when Grady's development is where Darko wants it. We have to give Grady credit last night. There was that one series where Alvin was gushing about Grady's defensive attempts, multiple attempts on different players in different ways, and he was absolutely fantastic. Grady is working very hard on defense. Him and Jamison Battle have made a real dedication to getting better as defenders because they know this is the area they absolutely have to get better at. And Grady is showing real fruits of his labor. In the game last night, he had some really good switching, and he's a lot more cerebral as a player, that he makes up for some of the physical capabilities that he may not have as a true athlete, like a major athlete, that with smarts and understanding where to be in the right place at the right time, he can be a very good defensive player over time because he's got a lot of cerebralness to him. So I'm going to give Grady some credit on his defensive work this season and getting better as a defender as the season's gone on. He really has. And, that's the thing. As he gets better as a defender, then we don't have to talk about Ochai being the starting lineup for him because Grady's holding his own. That's what I'm saying. Wayne saying, my point was jumbled. Sorry. We have 2 point guards with different skill set. IQ is a starter at all times. Davion is useful as a starter sometimes. I like this idea. Maybe we don't have a standard 2 small guard starting lineup, but Davion, maybe it's because like we play Cleveland. Cleveland's got 2 small guards with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. So it fits better to have Davion start with Emmanuel against those 2 small guards. It could be matchup oriented. I'm totally for this. I think that that's a great point there, Wayne. Kaz is saying we just paid IQ $35 million a year and we should bench him. No, that's why I'm saying we can't, is because he gets paid that. That's what Coach Evo said. They get paid that money, they're starting. That's for sure. Yeah, he just needs time to mesh. Andrew, I agree with you. Kaz said, I would argue the gap is bigger on offense between IQ and Davion than the gap between defense, in my opinion. Oh, I would argue this is absolutely true also. I think that Emmanuel is still a young player and he's still learning his defensive identity to a degree. And don't get it twisted. Having Shed and Mitchell in the depth chart with him is helpful to get his ass in gear as a better defender. So I think this is exactly right. Emmanuel has way more offensive potential in some ways and is closer way further away from Davion offensively than Emmanuel is to Davion defensively. In some ways, defense is easier to be closer to because in some ways it's not necessarily talent skill. That you could be a good defender with effort. And that's what Emmanuel has to do, is he's got to figure out the level of effort and the insight of really being savvy. And he's smart enough, like Grady, to figure out the cerebral side of placement and being in the right place at the right time and how to play certain matchups against certain players in the league and stuff like that. Davion's a little ahead on that than Emmanuel. In some ways, Davion really does have the psychology of his opponent every night, understanding how Trae Young, Steph Curry are going to do things, and he is going in there as an educated student. We know this is part of the secret of the genius of OG. OG Anunoby, it's been revealed in New York recently, and the New York fans are like, oh, wow, I didn't realize this. Fred Katz put a piece out on OG and just how detailed and in-depth he goes on his defensive scouting, on his assignments pre-game. And Davion Mitchell's the same kind of player. That's what makes these guys such great defenders. They are really looking at their opponents for that particular night and understanding their proclivities and their tendencies and using them against them. Did you see how many times last night Davion Mitchell got offensive fouls called on Chicago, turnovers on screens? This has been common. Like every game, Davion Mitchell is going to get an offensive foul called on a player on the other team just trying to come around a center screen. And they call it for him because he understands exactly what the refs are looking for, and he uses it as a weapon. In some ways, Davion's giving us ball possessions just by drawing offensive fouls off of screens. I love that so much by him, man. I think you're exactly right, Kaz. I think that IQ's gap is way bigger on offense than Davion's on defense. I think you're exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah. Kaz is saying Masai also told DeMar he wasn't going to be traded. I know, and I hate this shit. I don't like front offices being liars. I don't. But I think that in some ways, I think that the thing that happened with DeMar was a real life lesson for Masai personally. And that in some ways, he's going to handle these kind of things way different going forward, because in some ways he didn't do it exactly right. And he knows that. He knows that. He didn't do it in a respectful way. And he probably learned from it. I know Ujiri is a work in progress like everybody as a human being. And in some ways, he probably did learn some lessons from the way he traded DeMar DeRozan. He probably won't make those same mistakes again. Let's just put it that way. I would say that. Wayne's saying that's a germane point, Lex, about the Kawhi trade. However, you're wrong. It's not one of the greatest trades. It's the greatest trades. Most impactful trade ever made in the NBA. I think you're right. I think I'll get behind that. You're saying I'm wrong. And I'm like, oh, man, I wonder what I did. And you say, no, it's even better than what you said. You may be right. You know what? It's just like his shot. Everybody doesn't give it enough credit. That is the greatest shot in the history of the NBA. I don't give a shit about Havlicek stole the ball. I don't give a shit about anything that happened 100 years ago or 50 years ago or 60 years ago. That shot that Kawhi did for us against Philadelphia is the greatest shot, maybe not even just in the NBA, in the history of basketball around the planet, maybe even the greatest shot in the history of sports. Seriously, a game 7, that tied, that close, and that much of the time, and that dramatic, I'm sorry. In some ways, I will say the same thing about that shot that you're saying about that trade. Seriously, man. Yeah. You have that album, Expose, 80s classic. I mean, they were sexy. And like for a young prepubescent boy, I'm like, wow, these ladies are good. Point of no return. Where do I sign up? Like when Lexi started to have little feelings as a little boy. Oh, expose. I love that you have that album, Wayne. I'm giving you a dunk for owning the Expose album. This is so cool. In some ways, it's like I'd much rather talk about this than planes, y'all. 12 dunks, 12 points for Wayne. He got his fourth dunk of the year. I love that. MK saying, laugh out loud. Oh, there's MK. Good to see Meredith in here. Laugh out loud. Google says expose, by the way, girl group. Yeah. Point of no return, expose. You're taking me to the point of no return. Hey, 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 hey. Dun, 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 dun. Wayne knows that's exactly how that song ends. It goes dun, 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 because he's got it on vinyl. I love that shit. Oh man, is it on vinyl? Seriously, you got that on vinyl. Please tell me you have that on vinyl. If it's a cassette, that's fine too. 8-track, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Smith saying the perfect trade ever made, resulting in a championship, doesn't get any better than that. I know, and there was so much risk for that reward. So much risk. You know, Masai could have lost his job that year because of that. Seriously, think about that. He could have lost his job trading DeMar and firing Dwayne Casey, but it went all so good. And it wasn't totally clear that that was going to happen. It was a long time process. That season was not like most of that season. People were saying the Raptors are the favorite to win the championship. It was not like that at all. We were not on the radar of the NBA and promotion in any kind of way as being a serious contender for the Larry O'Brien. It really was just Golden State's going to win it again. And maybe the Milwaukee on the other side. Milwaukee is the strongest contender in the East because they're the top of the East. No, Toronto was second, and we won that championship that year. And that, it was badass. That's right. All right, Andrew's got my cutoff. I love it. Classic card. I haven't even done the Instagram stories, and I'm 2.5 hours in, and Milbester's here. Oh, my gosh. All right, it's Chris Boucher's pointing to the Lord above. He's just happy. Whatever happens to Chris is going to happen, y'all. They know it's a business. They know it's a business. That's just how it is. In some ways, that's just how it is. I'm going to do expedited stories. I love that they're putting DeMar and Kyle's open gym on blast on the Raptors official admin. Don't even show that garbage that Sportsnet has put out. In some ways, it's like I watched it once. I don't think I'm ever going to watch it again. I was going to watch it again to see more details. I think I got everything I wanted from it. And I don't need to watch Raptors Delight again, episode 2. I really, really don't. I really, 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 really don't. So, all right, let's keep going in the Instagram. Let's see. Maybe I will skip these. In some ways, this is like kind of all over the place, and there's not a whole bunch of stuff. Siakam went to school. He's talking to some school kids. Hi, everyone. I'm Pascal Siakam of the Indiana Pacers, number 43. He's like teaching the kids about, stay in school. No matter your situation, has been awesome. It's a great program. He came down there, he was supporting the kids. I love seeing him doing that. Zach Edey has got Purdue's win on his Instagram, so he's proud of his alma mater winning after he's gone. Grady Dick came in with a badass purple crushed velvet jacket to the game, looking like Bono in the Fly era. It's like, okay, Bono, you two's Bono coming in the game. Grady Dick wearing the Fly glasses and looking like he's running down the streets of Dublin after a cab like Bono Vox would in the early 90s. There you go. Grady looking all Bono like the Fly. There you go. There's the Grady dunk where Scotty set him up for. He just kind of dumped it past him and he came around and threw it down. Beautiful, beautiful dunk. Do that in the Rising Stars, Grady. That's what we're saying. Jamison Battle putting on blast that he's 59% 3-point shooter in the G League, leading the G League in 3-point shooting right now. You go, Jamison. You get that acclaim. And there he's got somebody from the Senior Bowl and Ohio State. He's putting on blast. Jonathan Mobo puts up prayer hands for his great line last night at 24 points. And he's also celebrating Jamison Battle's accomplishment with bang. There you go. Norman Powell's got all kinds of foxy models modeling that understand the grind. Go and check out Instagram stories of Norman Powell. Should have been an all-star. Toronto Tempo with more podcasting and swag going all over the place for the Toronto Tempo, building the buzz for the new WNBA team in Toronto. There's Lloyd putting Jonathan on blast. In fact, I wrote Lloyd saying this is a great game by Jonathan. I hope he stays in the Raptors organization for many, many years to come. And Lloyd hasn't written me back yet. I just wrote him that like before I went on the stream. Jacoby Walters cheesing in his pictures. He's doing this crazy dance with Garrett before the game last night. And boy, were they lockstep with their little footwork. And it was like, oh, he impressed Jacoby. I could tell. He's saying, chill, OG, to Garrett Temple, who's right on time with him. And there's Jacoby making a funny face, sticking his tongue out during the anthems. He's got a funny little post on Instagram where he's walking into the game with his cheesy smile and holding up his rookie bag and a bunch of pictures. Jacoby, you're awesome, man. You're fun, dude. In some ways, you're fun outside the game, but in some ways, you're very serious on the court. And I like that. You're fundamental and right on the court, professional, but you're a little goofy and fun outside of it. And I love that. Scotty Barnes doing his look back on the dunk again last night. He's getting these opportunities. In some ways, I'm realizing why Scotty's doing this. It's kind of like, oh, you can't catch me. He's like the gingerbread man. This is what he's doing when he's doing this little pause on his dunks sometimes. He's like, oh, he's so, it's kind of arrogant, but in some ways, I get it. In some ways, like, you can't catch me. It's how he's talking trash. And like, honestly, it's fundamentally horrible. But the thing is, I've thought about it. It's like, if they do actually catch up with him, isn't he strong enough to finish, even if they try to stop him? I don't know. In some ways, I'm getting more and more open to Scotty being Scotty. And if this is his signature stuff, it's like he's going to be gingerbread man. Catch me. You can't catch me. Okay. If that's going to be you and that's your profile, you're going to be modest and just amazing leader all around. I'll allow this, is the way I'm looking at it right now. I wasn't cool with this because it's fundamentally not good. But if you're going to play gingerbread man, all right, go ahead, Scott, because you've been doing it consistently. You're the gingerbread man. I get it. You're faster, bigger, and stronger than everybody else, and you're going to throw it down even if they catch up. I get it. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. That's right. Davion Mitchell, all kinds of highlights on his Instagram stories, all kinds of good stuff happening with him. Yeah, that's about it. I don't need to do any more. There's a Grady Dick with the Raptor. I don't know what's going on there. The Raptor's pretty funny with his stuff. There he is with some sort of a leopard jacket. Some ladies wearing a leopard jacket in the audience too. Raptor's just a cool guy. He's a fun dude. Oh, this is the thing I wanted to say. Raptor went up to Chuck Swirsky at the game last night and brought him a birthday cake because Chuck had his birthday this week. We announced it a couple days ago. And the Raptor came and brought him a birthday cake during the game. So it's so nice to see Raptors former announcer Chuck Swirsky getting a birthday cake from the Raptor at the game last night in celebration of his 72nd birthday, y'all. Chuck is up there, y'all. So, yeah, there you go. They had new jerseys released by the 905 yesterday. They're the new Black History Month jerseys, and they have the symbol of connection on it, and they're using the colors of red, green, and black for Black History Month. So be on the lookout for the new specialty jerseys coming out for the 905 for Black History Month. Of course, they had the Underground Railroad ones last year. It's the same color scheme, and they look pretty good. Once again, this year, I'm going to say the specialty jerseys for the 905 are not as good as the ones last year. Last year were top-notch. These ones are okay. I think they're great, and I like that they do this kind of stuff. So, yeah, let's see. Trevor's got my cutoff. Thank you, Trevor. And Mil Bester showed up right afterwards. Just real quick, Mil Bester, I'll give you a couple. Good morning, Lex. How are you been? How's the weather in Toronto for you? I know we're halfway through the NBA and winter season and Groundhog Day tomorrow. Knicks play the Lakers without AD tonight. How's the Raptors been? We've been the hottest team in the league. You know, your team and our team have had the best winning streaks recently. We were both on 5-game winning streaks. And, well, the Raptors have the best record in January in some ways out of all the teams. So we've been the hottest team in the NBA on the down low. We've been streaking, and we've won 7 out of our last 9 games, Milbester, just so you know. So, yeah, you guys are going to get a better Raptors team this week when we see you guys on Tuesday. So we'll see you very soon, Milbester, after Groundhog's Day. Yeah, my winter's going, It's been a harsh winter, a lot of snow, very cold, very, very cold today out at my house. I'm glad I'm downtown in Scarborough, not downtown. I'm in Scarborough with Adriana instead of out in -20 weather out at my house right now. So, yeah, it's been a long winter, and it's a sad winter because of the politics in the United States, honestly. Let's see. Also, Lex, Lidum season, and okay, that's baseball stuff. And playoffs ended. Okay, this is the league in Dominican Republic you're talking about? Okay, cool, man. I don't know how to say the name. I'm not going to say the names or anything. I'm over time already. Trevor's saying IQ's injury is not of his own doing. That's why we haven't seen him playing. But stop IQ trade talk. I'm with you on that. I'm just opening the idea to it because in some ways, once again, when you have success with somebody sitting out, you got to be like, well, what if we traded him? What would we get to add instead? But I think you guys are right. This is way too preemptive and early that we need to discover more of IQ on our team. And you're exactly right. Stargate saying, don't be surprised if Bobby Masai, when they're ready to compete for a championship, that they go try for getting certain spicy food player. Not Pascal. Not Pascal, a spicy food player. Who would that spicy food player be? I don't know. The only one I know is Siakam. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. No, that's just saying, Lex, the WBC qualifiers in 20 days. We made it. Okay. Once again, we are not doing baseball. We're not doing baseball. I barely do Knicks basketball. All right. Just so you know. All right. Classic card right now. Oh, cool. All right. This guy's still around the league. So, yeah, he is. I'm saying that, but y'all get it. All right. Classic card of the day. It's bright in here. I know it's a little hard. You can look at it and probably figure out who it is. It's a little bright in here. I'm trying to get it without the light shining on it. This is an easy card, if you ask me. If you know the NBA, you should know who this is. This guy's still in the NBA, but that's a trick statement, just so you know. Yeah, who is that? Y'all should know who this is. He was more famous in college than in the NBA. So let's see if anybody's going to get this classic card of the day. I say he's still in the NBA, but that's a trick when I say that. If you know, you know, and you get it. In some ways, it's like Milbester's here. He's Knicks freak. We need a different Atlantic Division team fan to know who this is easily. Nobody's getting this so far. Y'all think this is like this guy's kind of built the same way as Shamshay, just so y'all know. Same kind of body type, kind of like Giannis. Maybe there's too many. A coach? You think this guy's a coach right now? Wayne, you think this is a coach? No, that's not right. He's not a coach in the league right now. He's still in the league, though. He's still in the league somehow, some way. Maybe like the guy I just said got a birthday cake from the Raptor. Maybe he's in the league that way. And you got to figure out which team and who he is. But yeah, this guy's still involved in the league, but he's not playing and he's not coaching. But he is very active in the league right now. Very, very active. In fact, he's somebody that he'd be the opposite of Jack Armstrong. And he would be like mad that Jack said, you get what you get. Yes, that's right. Damon Stoudemire, no, that's not our original Roy. That is not original Roy, Damon Stoudemire, Mighty Mouse. No. He did play for Trailblazers. I did say this guy's a center and that he's built like Shamshay. So that's not Mighty Mouse, just so you know. Man, I don't like how bad we're struggling with the classic cards these days, guys. I really don't. We're supposed to be a knowledgeable group of basketball heads that know basketball inside out. And the fact that we're struggling with these cards recently is very upsetting to me. I'm not going to lie. I'm very, as much as we're trying to tell Emmanuel and Grady and certain people get their defense better, I want y'all to get better with the classic card. RJ, you shoot better free throws. Y'all do better with the classic card. Let's seriously, let's get your game up. Come on now. I'll be a coach in this and motivate y'all. Nobody's even guessing now. Y'all are scared. Come on now. All right. He likes to call Embiid JoJo. He calls Embiid JoJo. JoJo with the ball. So I just gave you the name of the team that he calls the game for. And yeah, you still don't get this, guys? Come on, man. He was in the NBA. He was more famous for being in college. You can see his face on the card. It's just you guys don't know who he is. You all are really disappointing me, man. Like Smooth, you should know this one. Is Smooth still here even? Is that what is wrong? Is that our old head, the best at this game, is stepped away from the computer? The Reggie, where are you? Bail us out here. Trevor, you know who this is. Jump in here and just say it, Trevor J, if you know who this player is. I will give y'all more clues because I'm not leaving until y'all get this. This man was born in Egypt. This man was a bigger college player than he was in the NBA. This man is the current color commentator for the Philadelphia 76ers. He calls Joel Embiid JoJo. He does his broadcast with a fake Doris Burke. I don't even know what her name is. Come on, y'all. You can't get this person? Please. I just told y'all everything you need to know. He's born in Egypt. There's only like 2 players that played in the NBA ever that were born in Egypt. Clifford Robinson? No, it's not Cliff Robinson, formerly of Survivor, who had passed away tragically a couple years ago. This is not Cliff Robinson. He's not even the right skin color for Cliff. He's a lighter skinned guy, this guy. Golly, I can't believe y'all are struggling like this. Who's in here right now? Who's in here? Y'all, there's no old head in here that knows who this is, this player? Man, don't make me get another card that y'all don't get. Seriously, this will be 3 in a row this week. I don't know. I just know Robinson played for the Blazers. That's a good guess. It's the right position, but he doesn't look anything like Clifford Robinson. He really doesn't. Man, I'm really, really disappointed, y'all. I think he played for Duke, y'all. This guy played for Duke. He was a Duke Blue Devil. Am I right? It's on the back of the card. Yeah, he played for Duke. This guy was a big-time college player for Duke at some point, and y'all can't figure out who this guy is. Where are my old heads? Where's my knowledge, y'all? Seriously. You're all going to make me go 3 hours just because you can't get the classic card? I'm going to give you all the last 30 seconds, and if nobody gets it, this is going to be the third strike against y'all right now. This guy scored 2 points in the NBA? No, he scored more than that. He actually played in the NBA for the Trailblazers. He played for the Nets. He played for a couple teams. This is his rookie card. He was more famous for his college career at Duke. He was born in Egypt. He's the current color analyst for the Philadelphia 76ers on their TV broadcast. I can't give you more points. I actually don't mind if y'all Google this shit because I'm so annoyed that y'all aren't getting it. You want to go Google who's the broadcaster for Philadelphia right now, you can get the name. It's that easy. And when you see it, you're going to be like, I'm stupid. Why didn't I say this? This is exactly who I thought this is. Seriously, y'all. Come on. Nobody's going to get this. We're going to do this. Seriously. Adriana's waiting for me to get off the stream to hang out with me, and y'all dragging my stream out because you can't get a classic card. It just take stabs at it. I have nobody here that plays classic card that does this seriously at this point, like Slug Deezy or Smooth Brown Man. Muhammad Anonymous. No. You know what? His first name could be put with an exclamation of a Muslim person. His first name is something they would say. It's a word for God. Does that tell you what his first name is? It's not Muhammad, though. It's a word that a Muslim person would say when they're speaking to God, is what they would call him, is his first name. So I don't know if that helps you. There you go. Smooth finally got it. Where were you? Where the fuck did you go, Smooth? I've been sitting here for 5 minutes hanging around on this Allah Abdel Nabi for like 5 minutes. Y'all can't get Allah Abdel Nabi from Duke University. It doesn't matter. You got 2 L's in there, but it's pretty right. It's right enough. Where were you, Smooth? Did you go to the bathroom? You went away to eat. I was like, where's Reggie? He's got to bail us out. We've been sitting here forever. I told them everything about this guy. Born in Egypt, played for Duke, was a better college player. He's the current caller analyst for the Sixers with fake Doris Burke, calls Joel Embiid JoJo. Said all this stuff, and nobody could get it until you came back from eating. You never heard of Allah Abdel Nabi. Allah Abdel Nabi. Yeah, that's a myth. Never heard of him. No, this guy's very well known in basketball circles. He's a well-known player in college. Yeah, Smooth, it's all good. I can't expect you guys to be here all day because I'm going to be doing a 3-hour stream. It's all good, Reggie. You got it. I'm going to give you 200 because nobody figured this out. I can't believe nobody else could get it. Seriously, is Smooth Brown Man the only guy who's going to be coming in here saving me on these? Abdel Nabi. Yeah, it's a weird name. Smooth, you're getting 200. And you're at the top, man. You've got a big lead for the championship. Our current trivia champion, it's looking like it's going to be Smooth Brown Man by the end of the season. We'll see if Amit Gaming comes back and he starts playing on the trivia days near the end of the season. He might be able to catch up, but Smooth's got about a 3,000-point lead right now. And that's a huge lead. That's a better lead than Fiercey had last year. So keep going, Smooth. Keep going, man. Andrew's saying, sorry to disappoint, Lex. I'm too young. You know what? I can understand that. That's why I'm saying when old heads like Smooth and Trevor are here, they should know who this is. Trevor, you know who this is, right? Trevor might not even be here either. Either way. All right, let me wrap it up and get out of here. Seriously, because that's about the last thing I had to do. There's no birthday today, guys. Yeah, you're not good at current guys. Smooth's good at the classic guys. That's the thing. He's good at the classic guys. And that's why the classic card has been his bread and butter. So, all right, let's just do the recap real quick. The Raptors lost to the Bulls last night. My 3 stars of the game were Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, and Jakob Poeltl. My 3 stars of the game in the victory over the Memphis Hustle for the Raptors 905, Jonathan Mobo, Jared Roden, Aldridge Shamshay, Jamison Battle, and Frank Kaminsky. Tomorrow, the Raptors will play the Clippers at 3 p.m. It's a 3 p.m. game. We'll have the preview in the morning, but before that, at noon, the 905 are playing also. So there's going to be another double duty day tomorrow on Groundhog's Day. It's going to be a 12 o'clock start for the 905 game. And then right as soon as that's over, we'll go right into a Raptors game in the afternoon. So Raptors doubleheader tomorrow afternoon, be planning for it from noon to about 5 p.m., right around when there would be NFL games. Well, just watch some NBA and G League games instead. I'll try and get my stream done in time for the noon start tomorrow, since I'm past noon right now. All right, let me see. Is that it? Oh, Devin Booker has came out and said that he supports expanding the All-Star game rosters. Of course you do, because you've gotten snubbed like 2 out of the last 3 years of not being on the All-Star. And if there were more people, Steve Kerr is saying he's against it, though, because he thinks it'll be more special if it's still at 12 instead of 15. And he said, well, I shouldn't really opine on this because I never got anywhere near close to an All-Star game, and I've never been snubbed from it like Devin Booker. So I can understand why Devin Booker thinks there should be 15-man All-Star rosters. Just like Matt Devlin, he's advocating for it on the broadcast also. I get that. I'm kind of with them. There has been expansion, but in some ways they're also right that it's not as special when you have 15-man rosters like that too. But it should allow for those kind of things. There's a new Kensington Variety VIP Club episode out today from 5 years ago where I sold a bag of chips that was open. And then I said, winning in capitalism. That's what I'm saying. That show is a joke about capitalism. If you've never wondered, why is he doing this in the convenience store like this? Because I was trying to show and prove just how stupid pricing and the way our system is for the needs of people. And that's why I sell people stuff like a 10-cent bag of open chips and stuff like that, because I want to show just how stupid the system is. So check out the Kensington Variety VIP Club for winning in capitalism in a real tongue-in-cheek way. All right, Fan Day is happening right now down at Jurassic Park, and Monique is down there right now. It started at noon, and hopefully there's just fantastic fun happening, and hopefully Monique will take some pictures, and who knows, maybe she'll get to meet some alumni or players currently on the team. I'm hoping that we get a whole photo spread from Monique, the superfan Lawrence, later on today, and Nameless is going to be down there also, apparently. So hopefully he can tell us what's going on. If y'all have a fantasy team in our league, set it up, play it. Get going on that. That's right. Wayne saying, I never want to see Ala Abdelnaby again. Yeah, he works for the Sixers. I totally get you on that. Milbester saying, Andrew, that 1992 Blazers team was the best. Clifford Robinson, Clyde Drexler, Terry Porter, Jerome Kersey, Danny Young, Kevin Duckworth. Yeah, I remember that team. Wayne Cooper. Yeah, I know that team. That's right. Milbester saying just that they lost to Jordan and the Bulls in 92. No, they lost to the Pistons in 90 is what you got it confused, my guy. But they did play, actually. Yeah, he came around and played them too. That's right. So you're right too. The first time the Blazers made the finals, it was against the Pistons in the second championship of the Bad Boys, and they beat them. And then I do remember the Blazers playing the Bulls in that year also, and Michael beating them too also. And that's Clyde Drexler years. Yeah, they were pretty good. Yeah, Kevin Duckworth, Jerome Kersey, Clifford Robinson, all gone. I didn't know Duckworth had passed away. I knew about Kersey and Robinson, but I didn't know about Duckworth. Also, Drazen Petrovic was on those teams too around that time. Also, rest in peace. All right, thanks for watching me, guys. I appreciate everybody. I know I'm a little ornery and weird. I had trouble sleeping last night. I had some health issues in the middle of the night. They kept me awake. And then Adriana woke me up at 6 a.m. with some crazy ass shit too. So I'm a little tired and grumpy. So I apologize if I was a little ornery today. I was trying to stay within the realm of being a pleasant person and maybe didn't totally successfully do that. But either way, I appreciate everybody. Love y'all. And I'll see y'all tomorrow for the previews of the games tomorrow afternoon. Let's go Raptors. And then let's continue to win and try to win at the best of our ability. That's right. Petrovic. That's right. Petrovic, Milbester. Drazen Petrovic, one of the greatest European players to ever play in the NBA. Let's go Raptors. Defense.